Oh my God, and I didn't update the titles. Holy crap. God, this is about as bad as it gets. Whew. Okay. Continue as first amender. Start the virtual camera. Microphone should be... Where's the... Okay, that's the camera. But I need my microphone. Audio. Microphone. Shure MV7. Enter studio.
A while ago.
2 weeks, and this is me being charitable because I believe it was longer than that.
There he is. All righty.
Hey, how you doing? I apologize for being late. I neglected to put this on the calendar, and I got those notifications from Speakeazy, so my apologies. That's not my usual modus.
Well, I don't accept your apologies. I would rather get back to this. I'm not going to be fucking playing around here. All that is just cope. I want to get back to this debate, and let's get to it.
He's ready for it. All right. So just to make sure everyone's good with the layout here, it's opening statements, 10 minutes each, uninterrupted, then a 5-minute rebuttal, each uninterrupted, open floor for 60 minutes, then a closing statement for 5 minutes each. And then we do a 30-minute audience Q&A. So like it's either they put it into the Q&A or super chat the questions. And then it's optional, the open panel part. So like after that, I open the panel and we just do like an open panel on the topic. If you want to stay, you can. If you don't want to, that's totally up to you. Everyone good with that?
Sure thing.
Yep.
Alrighty, let me put the for and against in your names. Alrighty. So I'm going to start it up. It'll do my little warning and disclaimer, the intro, and then I'll introduce the show. I'll introduce you guys. And then First Amender, you're on the for side, so you'll do first for opening statement. And then in closing, because I like one person having the first word and one person having the last word. So in closings, you'll go first again, and then Marte will have the last word. Cool?
Sounds good, yeah.
Wait, can you repeat that again? Who's going first?
For the opening, it's going to be First Amender that goes first. And then at the end, he'll go first again, but you're going to have the last word. So it's one gets the first word, one gets the last.
That's fine.
All right, perfect.
So the prompt is trans women women?
It's trans women are women. That was the prompt. Yeah.
Okay.
All righty. I'm going to get this started up, and good luck to both of you, and thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
The information shared in these conversations and videos are intended for general knowledge and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered as legal advice or professional guidance. Additionally, any documentation or references to specific content are solely for the purpose of discussion and understanding. It does not imply endorsement, promotion, or support of said content. The views expressed in these videos and/or conversation are those of the individuals involved and do not represent any official stance or opinion. The content you are about to experience may contain strong language, including explicit words and phrases. This language is used for artistic expression and may be integral to the storyline or character development. It is important to note that the use of such language does not endorse or promote offensive behavior. Viewer discretion is advised, and please enjoy the show responsibly. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. The Canadian Copyright Act, Section 29, allows an individual to use copyright-protected materials when creating a new work, such as a mashup, and to post the new work online on a site like YouTube. Fair dealing provision for specific purposes like research, private study, education, parody, satire, criticism, review, and news reporting.
Step up, step up! Yeah! We pledge! We pledge! We pledge! We pledge! step in the arena, mind locked and loaded. Truth on my blade, every line's exploded. You swing your words, I counter with precision. Battle of reason, this is my mission. Raise your fist, let them know. No. Raise your voice, let it blow. Woo! We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo! We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo! We clash our swords of reason. Step back, I'm a scholar and a fighter. Every claim you throw, I strike tighter. Logic and power, I never fold. In the war of words, I'm solid gold. Raise your fist, let them know. Whoa. Raise your voice, let it blow.
What is this video?
Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Every thought a fortress, every claim a storm. We forge a truth where chaos takes form. Ideas ignite like lightning through the night. In the war of minds, we bring the light. Step in, feel the heat. Truth is my weapon, never beat. Raise them high, break the ceiling. With a fire, with a feeling. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason.
Welcome, everybody, to Swords of Reason right here on the Speakeazy show. This is where logic meets passion. If you're new here, the format is simple. Each debater gets 10 minutes for opening statements, followed by a 5-minute uninterrupted rebuttal. Then we open the floor for a full hour of debate for back and forth before wrapping it up with a 5-minute closing statement from each side. After that, we'll spend about 30 minutes answering your questions from the chat. We'll have a lot of Q&A in the chat there for you. But super chats will get priority, and we only have a 30-minute window for this. So if you want to make sure you get your questions in answered, make sure you send it via super chat. And once the formal debate is done, we'll open the doors to the community. This is optional for the debaters. They don't have to stay for this part. But we'll open the doors to the community, and you guys can hop up and challenge or question anything you've heard tonight. Today's debate prompt is trans women are women. And let's meet today's debaters. We have, for the affirmative, we have the First Amender, who has a channel right here on YouTube. He focuses on politics, social issues, and debates. And also for the negative, we have Marte Reyes with also a YouTube channel here on YouTube. He's a former professional bodybuilder, and on the channel he focuses on politics, religion, and hot topic discussions, and also debate reviews. So debaters, you know the rules. We're going to keep it sharp. First Amender, you're going to be first on the opening statements. So whenever you're ready, I'll start the time up with your voice. And thank you guys for both being here.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let me know when I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah, I'll start the timer up with your voice. You can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the statement of trans women are women, not as a slogan, but as something that we can understand logically and biologically. To do this correctly, we need to clarify two things people mix up all the time. It's sex and gender. What sex actually is people will say that sex is biological and binary, a male or female. However, in real biology, sex isn't just one thing. It's a mix of many traits. For example, you can have the chromosomes of XXXY, but you also have instances of XXY, XO, etc. You have hormone reproduction. You have reproductive organs, anatomy, secondary traits like body hair, fat distribution, breasts, These things don't always line up nicely. There are women, for example, with XY chromosomes with androgen insensitivity syndrome. There are men with extra X chromosomes. There are people who are born with ambiguous genitals or hormone levels that are outside of typical ranges. So sex itself is not a clean on-off switch. It's more of a cluster of traits that usually fall into male or female, but not always perfectly. What is gender? Gender is different. Gender is a person's internal sense of being male, female, both, neither, or something else. And it is the social role that goes with that. Nobody actually checks your chromosomes in everyday life to decide if you're a woman or a man. We go off presentation, behavior, identity, how someone lives, how they look. That's gender. So where does gender identity come from? Some say it's just a feeling, but there's a lot of solid research that suggests that gender identity has biological roots, especially in the brain. During development in the womb, hormones shape both the body and the brain. In trans women, some brain structures are closer to typical female patterns than male ones, even before hormone therapy. So this isn't just some random or made up thing. It's a real part of how some people develop. What happens during transition? We could talk, for example, endocrinology or the study of hormones. When a trans woman starts hormone therapy, testosterone is lowered. Estrogen is increased to typical female levels, and the body responds in the form of breast development. Fat moves to the hips, the thighs, the chest. Muscle mass drops. Skin gets softer. Body hair thins. Emotional processing and even brain chemistry change along with the hormone shifts. Medically speaking, their body is operating on a female hormonal system. Doctors literally use female reference ranges to track their health. Some may say, one of the most common arguments, but you cannot change chromosomes. Yes, chromosomes do not change. But here's the thing. Chromosomes alone have never defined who is or isn't a woman. Women with androgen insensitivity, for example, have XY chromosomes yet possess a vagina. We consider them as women. Men with Klinefelter syndrome, or XXY, are still men. Nobody runs a chromosome test to decide who enters the women's restroom or who gets the driver's license that says F. If we accept that women can have XY chromosomes, clearly womanhood isn't only about DNA. Medicine and law actually already recognize these factors. Major medical groups such as the Endocrine Society, the AMA, the APA, all treat trans women as women in healthcare. Legally, in most places, trans women can change their documents, get married, and are protected under women's rights laws. This isn't a niche concept. It is already how the systems function. So under a core logical argument, gender identity is real. It is deeply rooted part of human biology and psychology. A woman is someone who identifies and lives as a woman, whose body and hormones align to that. Trans women do exactly that. Their identity, their hormone systems, and social roles match of what we call woman by gender. Therefore, it follows logically. Trans women are women by gender. This is not just semantics. When society refuses to recognize trans women as women, it causes real harm. There's increases of higher depression, anxiety, and suicide rates. When we do recognize them, not only does it align with science, it literally saves lives. So no, it isn't about being politically correct. It's actually about being accurate. Biology isn't as simple as XX or XY. Hormones matter. The brain matters. Identity matters. Medicine, law, and logic already reflect that. So when we say that trans women are women, it's not people denying science, it's actually accepting it. And that's my intro. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that opening statement. And with that, we're going to hand the mic over to Marte for your 10-minute opening statement. And whenever you're ready, Marte, I'll start the timer up with your voice.
Well, this is funny. My opponent brings up the medical issues where they're accepted, which I actually don't accept that, and I also don't accept your definition as well too. I'm just going to kick that down the road, and we can deal with that later. So trans women are already women, right? He says. So why do we need hormones and surgery to become what they are? It implies that they aren't women biologically. You're going to have to untangle this paradox because it requires intervening it to approximate womanhood. So anyways, back to this. The assertion that trans women are women often hinges on equating gender identity with biological reality. Once again, this is reality. When he's saying that people acknowledge this, he can then say, well, no, this is what I need you to affirm with. And we're not talking about people being politically correct or anything like that, but actually, yes, we have to be, because we have to conform with the reality. But this creates several paradoxes. First, it conflates subjective self-perception with objective observable traits like chromosomes and reproductive anatomy, which define biological sex in every other mammal. If womanhood is solely based on self-identification, it renders the term woman meaningless, as anyone with a claim can claim without consent criteria, eroding the ability to address sex-based protections or spaces. Secondly, it demands that others affirm this identity, clashing with free speech and thought, as it compels agreement with a subjective claim over objective reality. Finally, it creates a paradox. In practice, if trans women are indistinguishable from biological women, why do terms like trans or specific medical and legal accommodations exist? We got to untangle this as well too. These distinctions acknowledge differences that the ideological claims don't exist. Thus, while empathy for personal identity is valid, equating trans women to biological women collapses under scrutiny, undermining both clarity and fairness in social frameworks. As First Amender continues to type, looking up sources, possibly ChatGPT or Grok, during this, looking up everything that he can, you're going to need all the help you can. The science isn't settled on this. It's made up of poor studies. Kind of like he's not studying this and typing, which is fine. I don't really care about that because he showed up 30 minutes late to a debate, which tells me a lot about his belief system already. No reliable source, soft sciences is what he's going to rely on. What does this have to do with the trans woman being a woman? Literally nothing. Most of these men suffer from autogynephilia. And if you don't treat them like a woman, they'll become emotional hostage takers. Because I, as a Christian, have to lie to them. I refuse to affirm the lie as well as the majority of the working class in America. If you self-delete because I refuse to lie as a Christian, I'll take the objective truth of the matter every single time. My opponent's position will boil down to a category error. We'll say that too. Also, he'll say that if you can be tricked, it is true. That's all his debate's going to boil down to. It falls on my opponent to demonstrate that trans women are women, as he's shown on his own podcast. How can I fool the next person? Showing up slideshows. Oh, I fooled you again. That doesn't change objective reality and the truth of the matter, which we're going to keep going back to. And then he's going to call it circular logic, which is also going to be him using circular logic. And with that, I concede my time.
All right. Thank you for that opening statement, Marte. And with that, we'll get into the uninterrupted 5-minute rebuttals. And just a reminder for everyone in the chat, both debaters can be found in the chat. So make sure you guys go over to both debaters, give them a sub, show them some support for coming and giving you some entertainment tonight, okay? So with that, we're going to hand the mic back to First Amender for your 5-minute rebuttal uninterrupted. And whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer up with your voice.
It's a 5-minute rebuttal without interruption?
Yep.
Very well. Well, so I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding here where he's stating that trans women are indistinguishable from women. I wouldn't make that argument. Obviously, a trans woman is biologically born male, but has transitioned to female. When I'm saying trans women are women, I'm referring to trans women are women by gender. And just so you're aware, there's multiple fields of study that confirm the existence from gender, and it's not actually like a sociological basis. It exists at an endocrinological basis, a neurobiological basis, a psychological basis, as well as a sociological basis, an embryological basis. There are multiple fields of science that confirm the existence of gender. But I wanted to see if I could show some specific information that I think is really important for people to understand, because this is more concrete than you would assume. Like a lot of people, they just think, hey, this is just a social science. It's just kind of nonsense. It's all semantics. I'm gonna flash something on the screen if I could. I need to share my screen. Can I do so right now?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, give me a moment. Sharing screen with 2 monitors. Okay, and then it's gonna be this. Okay, can you see that?
Okay, now I do. Yeah, I'll bring
do
that
see
up
that?
for you. Yep.
Okay, I need to, appreciate that. Thank you. Can you remove that VS there? This is important. Okay, so this is under sexual medicine, the neuroanatomy of the transgender identity, meta-analytic findings from the Enigma Transgender Persons Working Group. So in contrast to cisgendered persons, transgender persons identify with a different gender than the one assigned at birth. Although research on the underlying neurobiology of transgender persons has been accumulating over the years, neuroimaging studies in this relatively rare population are often based on very small samples, resulting in discrepant findings. So the aim is to examine the neurobiology of transgender people in a large sample. So the methods were using a mega-analytic approach. We used structural MRI data of 803 non-hormonally treated transgender men, transgender women, cisgendered men, and cisgendered women were analyzed. The outcomes showed that structural brain measures, including gray matter volume, cortical surface area, and cortical thickness. The results were that transgender persons differed significantly from cisgendered persons with respect to subcortical brain volumes and surface area, but not cortical thickness. Contracting the 4 groups, trans man, trans woman, cis man, and cis woman, we observed a variety of patterns that not only depended on the direction of gender identity towards male or towards female, but also the brain measure as well as the brain region examined. The outcomes of the conclusion was that rather than being merely shifted towards either end of the male or female spectrum, transgender persons seem to present their own unique brain phenotype. What I'm trying to exhibit to you is the existence of trans individuals. It doesn't exist at like just purely a sociological level. How you feel internally of what makes you male or female, sometimes it severs itself from your external body features. And this has been known for quite some time now. I mean, I think we had started exhibiting differences in hormonal differences than what is typical externally as far back as the 1970s. You can actually observe the measurements right here. They're freely available for you to look. This is not a sociological argument. What I'm presenting to you is the existence of trans people as which can be observed at a subcortical volume area. It's not sociological. Now, is it possible to say that, trans women are exactly like women? No, I don't agree with that. And the science shows that. But the question isn't, trans women are identical to biological women. I'm simply pointing out that there's a lot more social features that we observe that determines what is woman. You don't take your blood test. I got 10 seconds, so I'm going to cut it right there. Otherwise, I'll keep talking. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you for that. And we are going to give the mic back to Marte for a 5-minute uninterrupted rebuttal. So, Marte, whenever you're ready for yours, I'll start the timer up with your voice. You're muted on this side, Marte. You're muted in the StreamYard. On the StreamYard, you were muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
His argument is basically that these are men with female features. And that's what I've heard. That's all I've heard. I haven't really heard a good solid argument as far as like they're women. Like, because he says they're not exactly women. So I will say that, and I'll agree with his whole statement and his scientific data saying that, okay, because I feel like a woman, yes, I could say I feel like a woman. Anybody else can say that, right? And science can acknowledge all this they want, but to me, this really doesn't even make sense, and it doesn't change the truth of the matter if we get down to this. So just simply telling me that these are men with female features, like, literally just concedes the whole debate right there and doesn't really make any sense already. You can shake your head all you want right now, but this doesn't also make sense as well too. I present to you another paradox, because your points aren't really solid points that I can contend with right now. This is just like, because it's just nonsense and delusion right now. So I will ask a question though, because there is a safeguarding paradox that this presents. Trans women, according to First Amender, are women, so they access women's bathrooms and locker rooms, things like this. Yet 70 to 90% trans women have male genitalia, right? People that haven't transitioned. So I do have a question, because you've already admitted that these aren't exactly women. So I'm like, well, if they're not exactly women, they're not women, just women with male features. So back to this. I want to ask this question. So if people who are trans are using women's locker rooms and bathrooms, are you okay with 6-year-old girls in these bathrooms looking at men's dicks? I mean, you'd have to accept this because that's a woman by your own standards. So, and then here's the other thing too, is if these men are transitioning and in the process of transitioning, you'd have to say that they're just looking at women, right? There's no problem with that. So according to your logic, it should be okay for 6-year-old girls to look at men's dicks in the locker rooms, because by your own standard, they're women. And I don't understand that either. I have other paradoxes that I'm going to bring up that really don't make any sense to me, because socially, to me, we can even go to gender socially. This doesn't really make any sense. So either you're allowing PDF file stuff happening or not. Because to me, this also doesn't make any sense too, because there's also a prison paradox as well too. With this whole thing, when we have transformer women, I mean, they go to women's prison, just like Karen White's case. The trans woman insulting female inmates shows a high level risk and mitigated with nothing, just male strength, right? This prioritizes identity over safety rationale for sex segregation facilities. And I'm glad that Trump is your president, because he recently reversed this. I know you're happy about Trump being your president, but back to this, the locker room. To me, I don't know how you can reconcile this, because if I'm to accept this as a Christian, I'm to also accept that you must lie to 6-year-old girls who are looking at men's dicks in locker rooms. Can you reconcile this for me? That's all I want to ask, and we can move forward. I can see my time on that.
All right. Thank you for that. And what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to get into the open hour for back and forth, where the debaters can cross-examine each other. Just a reminder for the chat, at the end of this, after their closing statements, we're going to have a 30-minute Q&A. There's a Q&A in the chat. You can ask debaters questions there, but the super chats will get priority. So if you want to make sure it gets answered, I'd send it through super chat, okay? And again, I want to thank you both for showing up. You can find both the debaters in the description of this live, so make sure you go to both debaters, give them a sub, show them some support for showing up tonight. And with that, whoever wants to open up the open floor here, I'll start the timer with your voices. Just remember, try to keep the interjections minimal. If it gets too chaotic, I'll step in, but other than that, I'm going to let you guys debate the topic.
First Amender, is it okay for 6-year-old girls to look at lady dicks?
No, I typically wouldn't suggest that anybody be just openly buck naked in any locker room. I mean, typically speaking, people keep their underwear on. No, not really. If people keep their,
when I go to the men's bathroom, there's old guys with balls walking across the bathroom.
I'm answering your question. Is this going to be a blood sports, or is this going to be like a discussion? I'm actually interested in making it a discussion.
Showing up 30 minutes late, but go ahead.
Listen, I typically do. Today I did not, because I did not put this on the calendar. My apologies. Can we move on? Is there any way that we can stay on topic and we try to have this as a discussion, not as a blood sports?
Go ahead.
All right, cool. So no, typically in locker rooms, people aren't getting buck naked unless if you're like over 60 years old. Most people don't do this. You keep your underwear on, number one. Number two, I should point out to you that right now, trans women using locker rooms, it's not something that they do because of currently, as of right now, if they were to use the men's and they look feminine, they get clocked as being trans, which then results in assault. This happens quite often, more often than you think. There has been numerous instances of harm towards trans individuals using the locker room that they are assigned at birth. It also doesn't make any sense in the idea that trans women are pedophiles. The reason why that this doesn't actually make any sense, even if assuming the worst and that they were a pedophile, if they are taking hormone replacement therapy, they basically have no sex drive. By reducing testosterone and increasing your progesterone and estrogen, this fundamentally reduces your libido. This
Okay.
endocrinologically is the fact. So
This is
I
your
want
second
to
point.
break
wanna
this.
address your first
I
point.
want
Let's
to
get to
I
your
want to
second
hold on. I
point.
answered your question.
Shotgun
Now I have to
point right
ask
now.
you a question.
How long are you going to keep going, First Amender? How long?
I answered
Oh,
your question. Now I'm going to ask you a question. The question
Well,
is
no,
the
I have
question
to
is
get-
simple.
hold on.
Do
No,
you
no, I'm gonna
acknowledge?
address that
Do
real
you
quick. We're gonna
acknowledge
have
the
to back and
difference
forth. We're not
between?
gonna-
Do
hold
you
on, you're not gonna
acknowledge?
filibuster
Do
the whole
you
fucking debate. We're
acknowledge?
not doing
Jesus,
things like
dude!
that.
I asked you. You asked
So
me to
back to
answer a
this,
question.
no, the
I'm now
locker
going to
room.
ask you a question. Being
Yeah,
good
just
faith.
let him finish, and then you can address his points and then
Yeah, go
answer
ahead.
his question. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Just
So
let him.
the question is simple. Do you acknowledge that there is a concept such as sex and gender? Do you think that those are two different things?
No, I reject that. But I do accept this as a social norm accepted by some people, the population, not the majority. Anybody could believe they're a reindeer, right? This happens often with people being in delusion. They can think they're whatever they are, right? It doesn't affirm that that's true. But go ahead.
So when I'm referring to gender, I refer to an internal sense of sex. Now, typically people who are cisgendered, they don't recognize this because their internal sense of their gender is the same as their external sense of their body. You said you're a bodybuilder, yes?
Correct.
Okay.
I am.
I want you to put into your head. Imagine you're 14 years old, you're just going through puberty, and for whatever reason, God has played a very cruel trick upon you and has given you gynecomastia, which means that instead of growing large chest, you are now growing breasts as a male. This sense, an internal sense of your sex, wouldn't match what is happening externally to your body. Would you acknowledge that?
No, what people do when they have this gynecomastia happen, they get it removed, and this isn't anything having
Why
to
are
do
they
with
getting
sex.
it removed?
So hold on. I didn't interrupt you your one time. So sit back and listen to me respond for once. So back to this, because we have to address your initial point that this doesn't happen. That's ridiculous. Right now in California, I could share my screen, but right now I'm sharing it right now with my other audience right now. A California woman says her gym membership was revoked because she objected to a man entering a woman's locker room. This just happened November 2nd.
Yeah,
so when you say
being
that this is
discriminatory,
ridiculous, it
and don't you
doesn't
think
happen.
businesses have a
Hold on.
right?
I didn't interrupt you one time.
That has
I
to
was
do with the
respectful
Civil
of you,
Rights
even though
Act.
you didn't respect my 30 minutes. Let me get into this real quick, and then you can respond
I
accordingly.
can tell you're going to be a
This
fabulous
woman was
person to
never
talk to.
decked. She was never punched at all during this whole procedure. So you fallaciously saying, no, they get hit and all this other stuff.
They
In this
do. They
most
get
recent
assaulted all the
evidence,
time.
Data that we show, it didn't happen November 2nd. Can you show me where this is happening?
All you did
I'd
was
love to
bring
see
up a
this.
personal anecdote. I can give you statistics and
Yeah,
research
cool. I
that
can bring
show
up a bunch.
overall
Can you show me
women
where
get
this is
assaulted
happening?
all the time.
Can you show me where this
Just so
happens
you're aware,
currently?
trans women, when they need to use a locker room, the answer is they don't use a locker room. They do it at home because of how much discrimination
false.
exists regarding that's
okay,
100% true. That's
Demonstrate it.
literally, talk to any trans person. That is the fact. They're
that's
living in an
unfalsifiable when you say it like that.
anti-trans
Can you
world,
demonstrate
and so
it?
what they do is that they avoid strife like this because they run into guys like you. That's the problem. So here's the thing, right?
Can you
I want to go back
demonstrate
into it. I just want to break it down. When a boy has gynecomastia and they want to remove the breasts, that aren't supposed to be there. Why
my
are they
first
removing
point.
it? It's
This
an
is what I asked.
internal sense of the sex doesn't match with the external body. Do you agree? Do you understand? That's what that means. That's what that does.
I asked if you could demonstrate where this happens now in 2025. I'm still waiting for a demonstration.
Gynecomastia?
No, that's not what I asked. Where trans women don't go into women's bathrooms.
All right. I'm saying that they avoid it.
Cool. Hey, can you show me that they avoid this? Because obviously on November 2nd, I can show that, but can you show anything else that's a counter or response to this?
Hold on.
Before we move on to your gynecomastia claims, can you at least address this?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I can pull this up. Hold on.
I'm looking for abuse and harm.
Huh?
Physical harm and abuse. That's what I asked. Can you demonstrate that?
Yes, I can demonstrate that. Are you asking for that they're avoiding using the bathrooms, or are you asking for physical harm and abuse towards trans people?
You said they're avoid. This is something you stated. You said this. This is your claim,
Those
not
are
mine.
two
You
claims.
said that they're
The
avoiding it because
I'm asking,
you're
what do
afraid of
you
getting
want?
punched.
What do you want the claim to? What do you
the
want me to
physical
support?
abuse as the reason
Okay.
why they're avoiding this.
Okay, fine.
Concise for you?
Okay. Okay, so I'll go ahead and share this so you can see it for yourself. Are you able to just maximize that? Okay. So restricting equal access to public facilities is harmful and it doesn't work. Banning transgender people from using public facilities in alignment with their gender identity deprives them of the ability to participate in public life. Without the ability to use a public restroom, trans people are less able to live their lives and travel outside of their home. Trans employees need to be able to use the restroom at work and keep their jobs without risking their health and safety. Trans people also need to be able to access government buildings for basic tasks like voting or visiting the post office. Trans people cannot safely use the bathroom of the gender they were assigned at birth just because the law requires them to. Trans people are routinely subjected to harassment and assault in bathrooms. 68% of trans people have been verbally harassed and 9% have been physically assaulted when using the public restroom in the past 12 months. And sadly, 8% of people have faced kidney or urinary tract infection from having to avoid restrooms for their safety. In addition to being discriminatory, bathroom bans are bad for our health. Offering separate private bathrooms is a great way to ensure anyone can feel comfortable when they go to the bathroom, whether or not that they're transgender. However, anyway, I hope that helps.
No. So Mike, let me restate my question. I'm not going to rephrase. I'm going to restate the same thing. In 2025, I didn't see a date. My question is, I asked you in 2025, is this happening currently?
So what? We're just going to hold on. Listen, I don't want this to be a gotcha. I want to have a legitimate conversation with you. Hold on. No, what you just did is a thing called a goalpost shifting. You didn't say anything about a year. You didn't say anything. And also you're being very, very specific.
No, I asked you about the article. This is specific to the article that you just brought up.
This is regarding transgender people and bathroom access. Trans people are in fact being assaulted for using the public restroom.
Fine, can I get the date? I said in 2025, I'll say this again, in 2025, where is this happening? That's what I asked.
I just gave an example. How that
2025, this is congruent. In 2025, is this congruent with what I asked you?
I don't know when exactly this was written.
Oh, so we can put up 2000 data and say currently right now that's data. This is crazy.
I mean, the copyright is of 2025, all rights reserved on the bottom.
I don't see it. Can you bring it up so I can see it?
It's on the bottom. Like,
see, you're just making assertions.
I'm not making assertions. No, I do. I do have it. I gave it to you. That's an example. There's multiple.
You didn't show me a date. This is crazy. I asked you in 2025 and I didn't see 2025.
Please Jesus Christ, what is with
You
you
want me
people?
to-
I'm
no,
trying
hold
to
on. You
have a
want me to
legitimate
accept
conversation with you,
data that
and I
suggests
want to
that
actually,
30
no,
to 25.
I know it to be the fact. I have done so
Do
much
I know?
reading on
Am
this
I
topic,
clairvoyant?
right?
Do I know
and I
that? Can I
gave
read your
you
mind?
the information, right? There's more information that is available. There's a lot of instances where, let me ask you this. Have you read any book on endocrinology? Any book at all?
I'll ask you a question once
Stop.
again. And we
Have
can
you
move forward
read
with it.
any book on endocrinology
You still
whatsoever?
haven't answered my
Have you
question.
read any book on endocrinology
What year
whatsoever?
was this data? Because I
Answer the
asked you for
fucking
current
question.
data.
Have you read any
Answer my
book on
fucking
endocrinology
question.
whatsoever?
Listen, you fucking.
Nope, we're gonna try it one
right
more
now.
time. No,
Answer
no,
my
no. You're
fucking
the one.
question.
No, no. Hold on. I've answered
2025,
multiple of your
I asked you in
questions. It's
2025,
your
where is
turn
this
to
happening?
answer a question. I'm
Listen,
asking you
you don't
this.
wanna answer
Have
this
you
question because
read
you don't have the data.
anything regarding
You don't have the
endocrinology
data that is
whatsoever?
current that I
I
asked you.
do. I sat there and I showed you the neurobiology of trans
You
people.
showed
You
me the
completely
2025
you
current data that I
completely
asked
removed
for.
that acknowledgement. And
Was
on
this
top of the fact
2025
that I
current data?
provide a study that shows very directly how trans people are being assaulted in bathrooms. That's not a stretch,
From
by the
any
way.
date,
Like, I
from
don't
any
even think you even
any
need
year.
data to come to that conclusion. People are hyper aggressive towards trans people.
From any
You won't even
year, you
acknowledge
just
the
want me to accept
existence of
data that I
trans people.
asked
So
for
God
specifically
forbid
currently.
if there's a trans person wanting to use the men's
Current
room and then you're going to sit there and walk past them
What part of
and
your
they
sick-ass
like
brain do you not get?
hell,
I'm asking
you're going to
for
tell
current
me you're not
information.
going to verbally assault these
Still
people. I wanted to
spurging
have a
already.
legitimate conversation with you, but
Look,
rather than actually
look,
having a
just because you
legitimate
look like
conversation,
moral oral
every
doesn't
single
mean I
right winger
want
just
this
wants to
kind of
turn this
conversation from you.
into like
Can you answer my
they
fucking
just want to
question?
make it into just gotchas and like, oh,
This isn't
look
a
at me,
gotcha.
I'm like
I'm
the new
asking you
podcast bro.
specifically.
You're a fucking idiot, dude.
Can
You
you
don't know
answer
anything
my
regarding
question when I
endocrinology.
specifically
All right.
asked
You don't know anything
Just
regarding the neurobiology.
Can
You
you
don't know
answer my
anything regarding the
question?
biology
just
or
so-
the
just so
sociology
the-
or the psychology. You
All
just
right,
watch
hold on 1 second.
podcasts.
We'll get to that later.
One second, guys.
Fucking
Just so the
idiot.
chat can hear what's going on here. Let's bring it back here. I hear Marte keeps trying to get a question off. Marte, why don't you just ask your question and see where we can go from there?
Look, I'm going to ask this for the last time because I don't think you have an answer for this. And I'm being good faith right now, asking you this. And you're calling me all kinds of idiots and shit. It's frustrating dealing with you right now because I just want a simple fucking answer. You're going off of biology and every other tangent except for what I'm engaging with, calling goalposts moving. Once again, back to this goalpost that I never moved. I asked you in 2025, where is this happening?
I listed.
Where
I
and how is
gave
this
you.
happening for
I
them to
gave-
avoid the bathroom
I
in
gave you.
2025?
I gave
Go
you
ahead.
that. I provided that. I mean, if you want specifically,
I didn't
like,
see a year.
a 2020. Okay, let's pull up one with a year then. If you want one.
Oh, so that
specific
wasn't
with a
it.
year.
You just admitted that was fallacious. Oh shit! You know what?
What
Let's
does it
move on to
matter
the
if
next
it has a
topic.
specific?
Already,
What does it
this
matter
is
if it
fucking hell
has
right now.
a specific date? All you did was
Yeah,
go,
pull up
you
your
asked
chat
me to
GPT in Google right now.
substantiate it.
This is fucking
You
bad.
asked me to substantiate it. I substantiate it, and then you said, "Is that 2025?"
No.
And I'm like, "I don't know. Maybe. What if it is? What if it isn't? Would it matter?" Let me ask you this:
It
if
matters
it said,
a lot.
"Stop talking," if it said
It matters-
2020,
you asked me a
stop
question, it matters a
talking.
lot.
Can I get a
Go
moderate? Like, what
ahead.
is this? 2025 specifically. If it said 2025, would you acknowledge the existence of trans people?
That's all I asked for. Yet you're going on this diatribe.
All right,
You're
try
refusing to
again.
answer a
If
question.
it said 20, you're literally doing that. You're avoiding answering the question. So I'm going to, one more time. If the article
I'm
specifically
avoiding it.
stated
Go ahead. Go ahead.
2025,
Crazy.
then would you acknowledge the existence of trans people? Yes or no?
That's not what I asked. I didn't ask if I'd acknowledge the existence of trans people, you idiot. I'm asking you in 2025, where is this happening right now? The abuse that's causing them to avoid these bathrooms. That's all I asked. I don't care about
again,
the
there's
we can deal with the
multiple
existence
laws that have
later.
been passed that ban existence of trans people from being able to use the restroom, and assaults have picked up as a result of the anti-trans agenda that the Trump administration has been wanting to push. This isn't a secret. We have this information. I mean, if you want the specific statistics of assaults happening to trans women trying to use, or trans men for that matter, trying to use the the restroom, even the biological one that they're assigned to, they're being assaulted. There's also cisgendered women that don't pass the perfectly as a woman getting assaulted as well. So like there are cisgendered women getting assaulted as a result of the anti-trans positions. So, but this is beside the point, right? I wanted to get back onto what the topic is. The topic is,
we can move
are
past
trans
it
women
because we don't
women?
have the data.
But you can't
You don't
even
have the year.
acknowledge
Just let
whether
him,
or not
let him finish, Marte.
you
Just
can't
let him
even
finish.
acknowledge whether or not that gender and sex are separate things, even though you're able to understand a concept like gynecomastia. Let me ask you this: why do you like getting big and strong?
Why do I like getting big and strong? Because I
Mhm.
like winning competitions. That's why I like getting big and strong.
You don't like looking good? Is that
I could
part
care
of it?
less about aesthetics. I'm a Christian. I don't care about materialism, all the other stuff.
Okay,
If
well,
I can
fine.
win, that's
So
all I
maybe
care.
not
I'm an
you.
athlete.
So maybe
Who-
not
who-
you, but
Who
that's
cares
fine,
about that? I
right?
just want to win,
Are
bro.
there people that they like to look? They go to the gym to look good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
So
men,
what?
they typically what they like to do is they like to get big muscles, right? Because big, strong men get big muscles, right?
Yeah. So what?
That's affirming their gender identity. That's
No,
what that
that's
is.
not affirming their
Yeah,
gender
it's an
identity.
internal sense of your sex, and you
No.
decide,
Hold on.
I
Hold on.
want to go to the gym to exemplify that maleness, and so they lift weights to look bigger. That's what they do. This is
No,
also the
looking
case
bigger
for women.
doesn't-
However, some
No.
people, what is happening inside their brain doesn't actually match what is happening in their external genitalia. And there are multiple instances of hormonal differences in the brain, and this is pre-HRT, mind you, where they can exhibit a different sense of their sex internally. And this has also been able to be exhibited at a neurobiological level.
No, that's completely fallacious right now
That's
because
not
then I'll tell
fallacious.
you why.
What? No. Wait, no.
Let
What
Marte
fallacy did I
answer. Wait,
commit?
let Marte answer. Let Marte answer.
I swear to God, all
Hold
of
on,
these
First
debate
Amendment,
bros
since
are
you-
the same.
you're
They
interrupting right
can't
now.
have a discussion.
Just let him
They're
answer. Just let him
incapable of
answer.
discussion.
Yeah, go ahead, First Amendment. Walk off while I go ahead and just rebuttal your whole fucking bullshit right now. Anyways, back to this. The reason why people want to go ahead and work out is because they're competitive by nature. We're competing as a species.
Yes, because
And
of
when we're talking about
testosterone.
this, we're talking about a taxonomical classification of men. When we do this, we are competing. That's the number one reason why. When you ask guys, it isn't because I want to be more like a guy. Nobody fucking says this. Who the fuck says I'm training to look more like a guy? Nobody has ever fucking said this once. Matter of fact, if I've been a pro bodybuilder for a very long time and I'm still active as a bodybuilder, I can definitely tell you, if you could point to me in any direction where anybody says I'm bodybuilding to look more like a guy, I've never fucking heard this. That's really weird. People bodybuild because they want to look better, to grab the chicks, get people, be competitive in this dating arena or be competitive on stage. It's all about mostly competition. They're not bodybuilding to transition from like nobody bodybuilds a transition.
They're not transitioning.
Their
Their sex matches their gender, so they have no need to transition. However, they
they're adding
affirming
muscle
their
on top of
gender
what they already have?
identity by adding muscle as a male. That's how that works. I'm just trying to exhibit, I'm trying to tell you how there is an internal sense of your sex, and it can separate from the external genitalia. And that can be exhibited at an endocrinological level, a neurobiological level, an embryological level. Did you know, for example, there exist babies who will be, or embryos that are XY chromosomes, but because they do not synthesize testosterone the same as other people, they grow a vagina. If you think that their internal brain...
What does that have to do with transitioning?
Well, I'm giving an example, right? Because what's happening internally in their brain feels different than what is happening externally, and because of the difference in the chemical makeup in the brain, they feel like their inside isn't matching their outside, and it can be exhibited in all sorts of ways. You have, for example, rough and tumble play versus social play. Girls tend to do social play, whereas boys tend to do rough and tumble.
Yeah,
you probably recall that there have been times where the girl does the rough and tumble play, and maybe just one of the boys just happened to be a little bit like to hang out with the girls a lot more than hanging out with the boys, right? Wouldn't you acknowledge that exists?
Yeah, I can copy behavior. It doesn't make me the thing. So back to this.
No. It has a basis in biology. It's not just copying behavior.
This is crazy. So back to this. Do I have to make additions onto my car to make it look more like a car? Where can I see this? Anywhere else? Can I?
We're not talking about cars. We're talking about humans.
Make it look more like a plane?
I don't know anything about cars.
Wait, hold on.
We're not talking about cars.
I didn't interrupt you the whole fucking
cars
time.
Cars aren't humans though. Cars aren't humans. This isn't analogous.
You see this anywhere fucking else.
But cars aren't humans.
Or anybody else is adding
cars aren't humans. Cars aren't conscious. Cars aren't conscious.
Can you answer the question?
You didn't even
first?
ask a question, numbnuts.
I asked you a question because you were talking. If you would shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah, don't compare human beings to cars.
Can you answer the fucking question? Do you see this anywhere else in nature or society where people are adding onto the thing like a car to make it look more like a car, to make it look more like it already is?
First of all, your question is ridiculous. Cars aren't biological, but yes, we do exhibit instances of hormonal differences that do in fact change behavior fundamentally. This has been exhibited not only in rats, but as well as rhesus macaques. There's numerous mammals that can exhibit this. So one example is
not what I asked.
One example is what did you ask then? You said, has this happened in animals? Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay, so people are adding on features on animals to make it look more like the animal?
No. You can have differences in chemical.
So you didn't answer the fucking question. I need you to listen.
I just want you to understand it's differences in internal chemical makeup that result in different behavioral differences.
Can you answer the question?
Do we see this answering your question as best as I can.
This makes sense?
Yes.
Where?
Well, for example, rats. There's instances of hormonal organization and sexual behavior among rats that also can be exhibited among rhesus macaques. So a good example of this is that they've been able to exhibit, for example, it's kind of hard to explain without me having it here. I'll try to show it over my camera. Maybe it'll help.
Can you please reconcile this for me? I need you to tell me how they're making rats look more like rats.
No, I'm not.
That's what I asked.
How making rats look more like rats?
Because that's what you're answering. That's what I asked you.
So, all right. So to break it down, imagine, for example, that you have a rat that has different types of behavior. So there's feminizing behavior and masculinizing behavior. A masculinizing behavior for a rat would be a mounting behavior regarding mating. And a feminizing behavior of a rat would be something like lordosis. Lordosis is a factor of lifting up the tail to be mounted. So if you actually look at the uterus of rats, you'll find right here, you can exhibit that there is a line convention of a blood path, and you'll have a bunch of little rats along the sides. You see these little beans here? So what happens is, if you have, for example, along this blood line, if you have, say, for example, female, 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 and then a male, then what happens is that male actually receives more female hormones because of the line of females that existed before it. As a result, this male rat exhibits behaviors of lordosis. And so, yes, we can exhibit instances of gender among rats.
I'm being patient right now. I'm really trying right now. You're really pushing it right now. Can you at least answer my question? Because none of that fucking answers my question.
You asked if it happens in animals. It does.
What are they doing to the rats to look more like rats?
This is nothing. You're not understanding how gender is separate from sex.
I'm asked. Can you just at least answer the question so I can get to the next question, because this is tangential?
I never made a claim that rats look more like rats. I'm referring to how rats can exhibit behaviors typical of male or female, and depending on hormonal structure in the
Okay,
brain,
let's ask this.
results in the rat's behavior changing. And this is
What
also
are they
true
doing to
among
rats?
humans.
What are they doing to rats to make them look more like male rats?
Not look like, behave like. They still look
No,
like
I'm
female or
asking
male
about look
rats.
because you're going to, because here's the thing though, I've heard this in previous debates with you. How do we judge a female by looking like a female? Like to me, that's what I'm addressing right now.
Typically you observe,
what do we do with male
the
rats that look more like
genitalia
a
to
rat?
determine whether or not they're male or female. The point that I'm trying to tell you is that there are male typical behaviors among rats and
So you're
female
not gonna answer
typical
my
behaviors
question.
among rat. Well, because you're not addressing what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to show you that gender is different from sex. This exhibits itself not just among humans, but can be also be
We can
exhibited
get to
across
actions
multiple
later. I'm
mammal
talking about
species.
appearance
This
right
is
now.
also
And-
prevalent among rhesus macaques, by the way.
So for appearances, can you tell me how it changes their appearance to look more like male rats? That's all I'm asking.
It has nothing to do
Are
with
they
the
do-
appearance. It
do you
has
see
to
this
do
anywhere
with the
else in society?
behavior. It's referring to the behavior. I didn't say anything about appearance. I'm saying
I'm asking about appearance. I'm saying that. I'm
Okay,
asking that.
well, then asking about appearance isn't really answering what I'm trying to show you.
Okay. So we don't go by their appearances at all, right?
No,
As far as
we're
trans
looking
women,
at-
we're not going to use
Well,
appearances,
we're
right?
observing that there are, like, wouldn't you agree that is lordosis a female typical behavior?
No, let's get back.
Is
okay,
lordosis a
appearances
female typical
first.
behavior?
So I asked you a question. So we're not going
Is
to use
lordosis
appearances
a
to
female
determine what's a
typical
trans
behavior?
woman. Being a woman, we're not going to use
Is
appearances.
lordosis a female typical behavior among rats?
You're talking about behavior. Can we get past the eyeballs?
Oh my God, dude.
So you're willing to throw this out
Because
Can
you're
you
talking
concede
about-
that we
because
don't
you're
use our
talking-
eyeballs
when you're
to determine
talking
what's a
about-
woman?
When you're we do that all the time, right?
Then
I'm
do you
saying
see how this is
an
tangential?
internal
Answer the
sense
question,
of-
please.
because I'm referring to the gender, which is the internal sense of the sex. Do you understand?
I'm asking you about appearances. We
Oh
can
my
move past
God.
this if you can answer the question. I'll move past this because right now you're failing to answer a second question that I've asked you.
What you've asked the question, but it's like a nonsensical question. I'm trying to explain to you
It's
how
not
gender is
nonsensical
separate
because
from
if I see a
sex,
trans
and
woman,
then
you
understanding
want
how
me to
hormone
affirm this by my
differences
eyeballs.
can result in different behaviors. And since we can observe that from an animal position, that is also true among males and females for humans. There is an internal sense of your sex. Sometimes it doesn't match what happens externally. This has been discovered and exhibited since, I would say, since the 1960s. We've seen these hormones. This has existed for a long time now.
First Amendment, you're all over the place because I asked you one question. You're going to behaviors. Right now, I'm just talking about appearances because the problem with your whole argument is you want me to affirm with my eyeballs, but then when I use a functional equivalent to where we could see an example anywhere else where we use where I don't think that rats can be delusional. I don't think that they have this ultimate sense of self to where they're like, oh, I don't feel like this. And we're doing this to them or we're doing this to any other species to magnify the fact that, oh, it's a male. We're going to affirm this to be a female or anything like
so
that. We
you
don't
don't
see
actually-
this else.
You
Hence,
don't have
this
to
is
do
why it's
anything
delusional right now.
You don't have to do anything to the rat. What happens is that you have the uterine vein that will along the chain have multiple females, which would increase the amount of estrogen and lack testosterone along that vein, which results in the male rat possessing more of female behaviors as they grow up. But
that doesn't answer my question, but I'm willing to move past this. This is bullshit. Like, are you trolling right now? Because this is crazy. Is that just honestly
entirely me bringing up studies and now it? So hold on. Let's say, for example, I mean, we can talk about the appearance thing. I think I know where you're getting at. We'll go through it if you like.
No, we can move past it because I'm tired. We only got 30 minutes. I might as well wreck you on your other points. But anyways, back to this. I have another question
What do
right
you-
now.
Hold on,
and
hold on.
Right now,
For starters,
let's get back
I'm
to
not
this
I'm
real
not
quick.
interested in
First
like
Amendment, hold
ooh,
on.
I'm gonna own
We're not
you
gonna
in
do
this
I'm not even
argument.
doing that,
Is that
First
really
Amendment.
your mentality that you want to
Asking this.
own somebody in
No,
an argument?
I'm just telling you right now, you refuse to answer
It's very
two questions.
clear to me that you're
I'm
just
being
looking to
incredibly
dunk a
racist right now to
win,
move past
and
all
I'm
this.
sitting here trying to give
I'm
you
willing
some
to move
basic
past this.
information regarding endocrinology. This is why I asked
I'm
you
willing
earlier,
to move past
have
your
you
blunders.
read anything in endocrinology whatsoever? What do you know about trans people outside of podcasts? Have you read any books on this topic?
I don't have. There's audiobooks.
Oh,
You know
holy
there's-
shit.
there's-
Wait, that's a
there's
book.
videos
What books
covering
have
the
you
subject
read?
By researchers.
Wait, that's a book.
I've done a
An
lot of
audiobook is a
research on
book.
this
Is it?
topic,
What did
and
you
you're gonna
read?
Denigrate this podcast.
An audiobook is a book. What did you read?
So I'm not going to pull this shit up right now. Just like you
tell
didn't
me.
pull
I'm
2025.
curious.
This is ironic.
I
You want
said
me to
I
pull
didn't
up
have a
book? You
date.
can't pull
That's
up a date when
fine. I
asked you
could
to
say
pull
I
this
don't
up.
have a date. I didn't have a date. I don't have a date. That's fine.
No, I asked you for a date, and you were like, "No,
I don't
it's
have
probably
a
some
date. I said, hey, on the
You literally
published article, it doesn't have
I didn't
a
want to
date.
say this before, but you literally lied to me during this whole this
What
debate.
lie? I
'Cause
just
when asked
told you, hey, I don't have a date.
No,
I'm
this is
sorry.
the lie that you told me, and I'm going to call your bullshit out right now. I
What the
asked you,
fuck are you-
is this in
I'm not
2025?
here trying to
You said
lie
it's
to you or to
2025.
trick you or to
Hold on.
like
I'm calling you-
to
you're
try
interrupting me.
to
I'm calling
show
on
you
bullshit right now.
like all I'm trying to exhibit is that I got to tell you, man, out of
This is
all
so
of the
bad
out of
faith right now.
all
This is
of
crazy.
the out of all of the discussions that I've had regarding trans people, I got to tell you, when it comes to right wingers, they understand actually zero.
Yeah.
About the
I
topic.
don't really care
What they
about
do
what
is that
happened
they
today.
just listen to
That's not me. I don't care about
podcasts
them.
and then they
We're in
and
this
then they
debate right
parrot
now, First
the
Amendment.
same thing over and over, saying trans women aren't real women. Like I can literally just have
Okay,
like
I
a
could care less about
We're
this.
getting
Debate
we're
right
getting a
now.
little off topic, like whether he
Yeah.
read a book or what
Okay, I
right
don't really
wingers say.
care
We're getting
about
a
all
little
this
well,
off
other
topic.
what's
here. Just
important to
try
me,
rein
what's
it back
important
in.
to me is like, okay, if you're actually interested in understanding trans people and what it is, I would recommend to pick up an actual book, an endocrinology, or a book that actually explains what are the differences between men and women at a chemical level. And it can be exhibited. That's why multiple fields of study are able to confirm the existence of trans people, all from separate studies. So, but you won't even acknowledge the very basic fact that gender is different from sex. And when I'm referring to gender, the predicate is that it is an internal sense of sex that is often dictated by the way that the brain forms at an embryological level. That's what that is. Do you understand?
Look, I heard this and I understand this. You're saying that the way that the brain forms when it comes to the endocrine system, I heard all that right now. Even though you didn't answer the two previous questions that I asked, I'm willing to be generous and even debate with you on this too. The problem with this is the two paradoxes that I presented, you were never able to reconcile. But moving past
What
this,
paradox?
like the paradox of 6-year-olds looking at dicks, right?
I
even
did
asked you
answer that right away. I said no.
then we
Wear your underwear.
when we went to, you said
You
this,
remember
but
where
this
I said no? Wear your underwear. Okay, cool.
In the
So you
showers?
know that I answered that
in gym
question.
showers, people
What?
wear underwear.
Who is
That's
who
crazy,
is-
bro.
who-
Like
who
this
is
is
taking
crazy.
off their like? Listen, just use the shower. You use a towel. Like this isn't hard. Just be polite.
Look, I
This
don't wanna
isn't a
stay bogged
difficult
down on this.
concept.
I wanna move
There-
past
and
it
just
because you were unable
FYI,
to
trans
answer
women aren't assaulting women in the women's
were
locker
unable
room or
to
women's
answer this.
bathrooms. Trans
No,
women,
let's move forward.
it is
You didn't even have
overwhelmingly,
the
even
date.
by a
Let's move
per
past
capita
it.
basis, it is overwhelmingly cisgendered men. It is not trans women doing it. And that actually makes sense
By a
considering the
non-date
fact
data
that their
point that you brought up.
testosterone
Anyways,
is
moving past
basically
this.
zilch. They have no sex
moving
drive.
past
Their
this.
dick doesn't even work anymore.
Okay,
Who are they
anyways.
sexually assaulting?
Oh, okay. So a 6-year-old can see a dick that doesn't work, and that's not sexually assaulting anybody
I never
visually.
said that. I
That's
never
okay?
said that. Never at any point
No,
did I
hold
ever
on, you
imply
just
that.
said their
I
dick
didn't even
doesn't
imply.
work.
What is
Who are
wrong
they
with
sexually
people?
assaulting?
Holy shit.
I just asked you the gym question, and then you just told me their
I
dick doesn't
answered
work
it.
poorly
Don't
or
show your
something.
dick to people. Like what? It's a locker room. Unless if you're like over, I think like the only people that actually like get completely
This is
naked
crazy.
are like people who are in their like 60s at the
This
gym. Like it's
is
ridiculous.
insane.
Nobody does
This is insane. I'm willing to move past this because we don't have much
Yeah, I
time.
answered the fucking
for you to be
question.
bogged down in
And so
questions
I
that you
want you
can't
to
even
address the
fucking answer.
endocrinological responses to the brain. I can show how the endocrinological responses affect the brain. I've been able to exhibit that. I can confirm that. That is very easy. You saw it yourself. It is observable. We know it's a thing. We know gender is different from sex. This exhibits itself not as at a sociological level. So knowing that we know that sex is different from gender, would you acknowledge, do you acknowledge, based on the numerous fields of science, neurobiology, endocrinology, embryology, sociology, psychology, listen, all of those fields acknowledge the difference between all of them, all of those acknowledge the difference between gender and sex. So knowing that all of those fields of study acknowledge the difference between gender and sex, would you say that you agree that gender is different from sex? Yes?
No, I'm not going to accept that.
Why?
I'm not going to.
That's 5 separate fields of study.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm not going to go over
Are
your 5
all
separate
of the scientists
You
wrong?
couldn't produce one document that was
I
recent that I
did.
even asked for.
I
which is
did.
extremely- No. 2025 was never on that, and then you asserted
It
it
doesn't
was,
matter.
and then
You were
lied and
asking
said,
specifically
"Oh,
about
no,
assaults.
I don't think
I'm
it's added
talking
on
about
there." You literally
5
lied to
different
me.
fields of study able to
You lied to
confirm
me during the
the
debate. Can we move
existence
on?
of
First
trans.
Amendment, can we move on?
There are 5 different studies,
First
5
Amendment.
different fields of science able to confirm
Look
the
at me being very
existence of
professional
trans
and
people
gracious right now.
and how
Can we
gender
move
is
on from
different from
why that
sex.
you just
You will
told?
not acknowledge the
I
difference
think,
between
yeah, I
gender
think
and sex.
Marte's just saying he doesn't accept the studies.
I don't
I think
accept
it's
that.
No,
Can we
it's
move
not
on?
better
accepting.
to debate
Listen,
the.
so
No,
speakeasy.
I don't accept that. I
Speakeasy.
reject that.
The problem
Only-
isn't
Amendment.
that not only does he not accept the fields of study, he doesn't accept those 5
soft-
separate science.
soft
Those aren't
sciences?
soft
That's
sciences.
crazy.
I'm sorry. Is neurochemistry a soft science?
So the reason
No.
why it's soft
Stop.
science
Is neurochemistry a soft science? Please
no,
teach
when
me.
it comes to this,
All right.
it's a
Is
soft science
neurobiology
because
a
it's
soft
not-
science?
Nobody
Is neurobiology
untangled
a
this when it
soft
comes to this, which
science?
makes it a soft science.
Hey,
myth.
is neurobiology a
no,
soft
you're
science?
So hold on.
Answer the
The
fucking
title of this
question.
in the field-
Is
All right, let
neurobiology
Marte
a soft
answer. Let Marte
science?
answer. Let him answer.
And I guess I can't even talk yet. So you can have soft sciences woven in between
Holy
hard
shit, he
sciences.
can't answer the
It's
question.
true.
He won't answer the
It's
question.
true.
Is neurobiology a soft science?
It's not a soft science, but you have soft sciences woven throughout this.
Is
Is
neurobiology
psychology
a soft
woven throughout
science?
other hard sciences? Is psychology woven through
Why
other hard
can't you
sciences?
answer the question? Are you brain rotted? Hey,
Wait.
one more time. The question is: this is a yes or no question. The answer is yes or no. You don't need to answer the question with another question or make some
I
other
just
non
answered the
sequitur
question.
fucking statement. Answer the
He
question:
did- he
is
did say- he did
neurobiology
say-
a soft
said-
science?
Okay,
I
First
answered the
Amendment. Hold up. He
question.
did say. I don't, maybe you didn't hear it, but he
Whatever.
did say no. I heard him say no just now. So I just.
He said
just wanted
no?
to- Yeah, I heard that.
Fabulous.
And then he
Great,
said
great.
that there was soft sciences through
awesome.
it. Just, but you gotta let
Awesome.
him finish his answer, right?
So-
like let him follow up with his
Great.
answer.
I'm not even
Fabulous.
allowed to talk.
So if neurobiology is if neurobiology is not
Let him give you his answer and then answer that, all right? Just so you hear his full answer, because he did say no at the starting and then followed it up. I think that's fair.
So I'm going to answer this right now. So when you have a hard science, as you just stated, there are soft sciences woven throughout this. So since I answered this, that is your answer.
okay.
Can you say that this isn't true?
No, I don't agree with that. I think that you have
Oh, psychology
different.
isn't woven throughout this.
Well, so you do. Of course, psychology is involved
Oh
in it.
shit! Okay,
But,
fuck. Oh
but
god.
with that being
It's-
said, it's
like
like
pulling
you
teeth
have
out of
separate
you.
fields.
This is crazy.
Let him follow up. Let him follow up, Marte. Let him
You're
follow
talking
up.
about you have separate fields of science that are able to observe these things with their own separate fields of study, their own forms of study. Both soft and hard sciences were able to observe interesting differences And like, for example, I was able to show you how there are portions of the brain that are physically shaped different for trans people. A majority of self-affirming trans people exhibit these specific formations in the brain. It can be exhibited. So isn't that interesting? Like that, but that's what I'm saying.
I'll even concede that. You know what? I'll even concede it.
That means that it has that transness or an internal sense of your gender for sure has a biological component. And that kind of makes sense in the sense that you have individuals, for example, may feel more manly or less manly despite being born a man, or women that feel more manly or less manly despite being a woman, right? There are so many factors that goes into this, and it is a bimodal distribution. And when it comes to trans individuals, when we measure brain regions in their brain, we're able to observe the biological differences.
I'll even concede this.
Okay, so we know.
I'll even concede this.
So we know sex is separate from gender. We know this.
How long are you going to go for, bro?
Well, I just want you to acknowledge the very basic thing. Gender is different from sex.
Did I just give a consent? Did I just concede this? Like, this is insane.
No, I'm saying no.
Look, this is what I have to deal with.
Do you concede that gender is separate from sex?
I conceded that point. I can even concede that to move forward with this. I just want to ask you a question.
Good.
Can a biological woman be a trans woman?
Can a biological woman be a trans woman? No.
Why is that?
Because they are born woman. And so to transition or to be the opposite sex of your gender, you would have to be a trans man. If they felt like a woman internally, they would just be a cis woman.
Oh, so a woman that's already a woman can't reaffirm this even more? That's crazy.
You can by you can.
All right.
In fact, wait, hold on. Women do that all the time. There are biological women that get breast augmentation. There are biological women that get nose jobs. There are biological women that get liposuction around their belly. There are biological women that get hormone changes in order to look more female. That happens.
Can you tell me how? So all of this is just competitive dating and market and all this other stuff. I've never once heard a woman, once again, like my bodybuilding analogy, say, I want to do this so that way I can just be more woman. I mean, I've heard this to some degree, but overall, I would say, you know what? I'll even fucking concede that too. But the problem with this is that this only works one way. Right? This is all just feelings based. That's it. So even if I concede your endocrinology and all the science with this, which by the way, wasn't even a fact, you lied about the 2025, but back to this, even if I do concede all this, your whole debate just boils down to if he can trick me, then we're good. And if I can be tricked, here's the problem with this. If Speakeazy has a body double and fucks a trans woman, are they still heterosexual?
There's so much to like. It's like you're like fractally wrong here. You're like wrong on all. Like no, even your question is nonsensical. Your question is not
how it's appeared socially.
Okay, so
Speakeazy's body double.
I don't know what. Listen, I don't know what. I don't know what Speakeazy's. I don't know what Speakeazy's sex identity is. Nor do I know what Speakeazy is into in the bed. Right. I wouldn't dislike him if he said, "I don't want to have sex with a trans woman because they have a penis." Yeah, fair enough. I don't blame you. That's fine, right? But all I'm trying to share with you is, since you've acknowledged that gender is different from sex, is it possible that the gender can be separated from sex?
Can you answer my question? You said I don't want to know. I don't care. Can you engage in the hypothetical?
I engaged in Speakeazy's hypothetical. Was there a second?
No, you didn't give me an answer. I asked.
I did. I said it's his choice. It's his. Well, there's no binary when it comes to being gay or not. It's a spectrum. Yes, being gay is a spectrum.
No, according to him, okay,
you're trying to make it a binary. It's not binary.
Speakeazy. Do you identify as a heterosexual person, which is one certain thing? We're not going to go off the spectrum just by a certain thing. Or do you identify as heterosexual?
Yeah, I have a wife. Yes.
Oh, okay, he has a wife. Speakeazy's body double
Well,
doppelganger.
let me give you an example, right?
How
How
is a
it's
trans woman? Is he still hetero?
listen. I'll give you an example on how it's. Well, I don't know. That's a complicated question. There's a lot
You can't.
to that, and I'll
It's
give you
not
an example
complicated.
of where it's like kind of in the
It's a-
air
it's-
where it's not black and white.
According to you, it's a
right?
woman with a
So
dick.
take for example, you have let's
What?
say his speaking, and I apologize, Speakeazy. I'm going to use you as a cudgel here, so I apologize ahead of schedule. This is going to seem a little blunt. Let's say for example that Speakeazy requests their wife, can you wear a strap on? And I want you to use the strap on me. If that were the case, like you ask the question, hey, is this gay? Well, it's a heterosexual woman and a heterosexual man. So some may say it's not gay, but you got a dick in your butt. It's a rubber dick in your butt. And so it's gay. But here's the thing. You're going to have people that are going to agree and disagree as to whether or not that this is gay. This is a really good indicator that it's more spectrumatic than you think. It's not just a standard black and white. So the question that is it homosexual to have sex with a trans woman? I don't know. Does the trans woman have bottom surgery? If
The trans
is
woman doesn't
that
have
a
bottom
deal
surgery to have
breaker
a
for
dick
some
involved.
men? Probably, but maybe to some others it's not. I mean, I don't know. If they pass really,
No,
really,
he
really
said
well,
he was
it
hetero
probably
in-
is straight sex. But
hetero
it's
in
difficult.
the
It's difficult.
example.
It's not a black and white
It's
answer.
black
Does
and
that
white.
answer
He's
your question?
hetero. He's not a spectrum. He's not on a spectrum or anything
It
else.
is. It's
His
everybody's
body
on a
is-
spectrum.
is-
Everybody.
Can I hold on? I didn't interrupt you during your whole dumbass diatribe. Back to this. His doppelganger is heterosexual, not a spectrum. Anything else? Speakeazy's body double bangs another trans person who didn't have bottom surgery. Are they still hetero?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you there.
All right, fine. I'll move forward with this. This is fucking crazy. Unreal.
right.
You
You acknowledge that gender is separate from sex. So it is possible for someone's
No,
gender
I
to
never
be different.
acknowledged this shit.
Yes, you did.
No, I
You said-
didn't.
You said that, okay,
I
I'll concede
conceded.
that.
I conceded the
For the sake
endocrinology
of
and the
argument,
field
right?
part. Yes, all day long. I didn't acknowledge that at all. Nor did I even agree to
Right.
that. That's crazy. I reject that.
Well, I mean, the problem is that regardless, no matter how much you talk, no matter how much you listen to podcasts, no matter how much that you want to deny the existence of trans people and that gender is separate from sex, the science is moving forward with this. The endocrinology is moving forward. The neurobiology, the embryology, the biology, all of it is moving forward with this, with or without you. It doesn't care whether or not that you're willing to acknowledge it. I simply ask you, spend the time to actually read about the topic instead of, watching some podcast and repeating the same old
You keep
tired
asserting that I'm
tropes.
looking at podcasts when I
observed-
don't look at podcasts all the
Or
time.
I don't know
do
where
more
you,
than
where
this.
you,
You're just
I don't know
making
where
empty
you're getting your
assertions.
information,
Can
but
you
this is the
actually
same stuff
answer a
that comes
fucking
out of
question and
podcasts.
make empty assertions. Can you do more
Okay.
than just empty assertions? Because according to you, this
Yeah.
podcast
I provided
has
studies
where
that
you
shows
can't.
the neurobiological findings of trans people being separate from that of their cisgendered counterparts. That empirically shows the existence of trans people. And by the way, this is only one study, a mega analytic
you
finding.
literally
There
just
are in
demonstrated
fact
that there's
many,
you didn't even demonstrate that
other
there's no
studies
distinction.
that shows the existence of trans people exhibiting itself at a very chemical level, not a social level. It can be exhibited in someone's literal brain chemistry from as early as a fetus. This can be observed.
So I asked you a question. I'm just going to do this one last time because you refuse to engage in hypotheticals that you say that you engage in. So Speakeazy's doppelganger, pretty gross, by the way, is banging somebody who didn't have bottom surgery. They both neurologically think that this is a woman. Is he still heterosexual socially?
I don't know.
Because
I
if
don't
gender,
know. I don't know.
if gender and
It's a
sex are the
complicated
same.
question. It's a
If
complicated question.
gender and sex are the same, no, you should have
Gender
the
and
answer.
sex
because
are
you
not
don't
the
study.
same. They're not the same.
If they aren't the same, fine. If they aren't the same, is he still heterosexual?
I've told you I don't know. I don't know what, like ramming the same question in my
wanted
face.
to hear that you don't know some shit again. Okay, cool. Let's move forward with this. This is fucking crazy. So right now, you've already said that in prison, this doesn't happen. This has happened all the time. I've already brought up Karen White.
Prison?
This has happened assaulting female inmates. And then you said it doesn't happen. It's wild shit. This happened at Gold's
Okay,
Gym when it
well,
comes
I
to
mean,
people
regarding,
that.
hold on.
moving
So
forward past
regarding,
this,
I mean,
we've
regarding
already
prison, like
unthinkable
my
bitch
position
shit.
is very simple. It's, I agree with least harm possible, right? Just because somebody identifies, say, as a woman, doesn't mean that they automatically go to the women's space. I go, okay, well, what level are we talking about for this prison?
So First Amendment.
Is this going to result in more assaults to the women or the person that's going through it? I don't know. I think that comes down to you have to come to a clear and sensible judgment as to whether or not they go to the male or female prison. So it will be a case-by-case basis to reduce overall harm. I'm a harm reduction kind of person. I want to see that society has less harm in it, not more. And so if you have a trans person that's going to prison, and let's say, for example, let's assume
You haven't
sexual
even
assault,
proven
right,
this.
towards women. What? No, I'm
You haven't demonstrated this.
hold
but
on,
I'm
hold on.
listening.
This isn't a
Right now.
proof.
Go
I'm
ahead,
just
Paul.
giving an example what I believe, right? I'm just telling you what I believe. Okay. That's not, I don't need proof to say, hey, this is what I think. Like, this is what I think should happen. Right now, that's not the case. Right? What happens is whatever is legally in your birth certificate, that's the prison you go to. I just think that there's a lot of sexual assault specifically towards trans women if they do end up in a male prison. And it's like in a situation like that where, like, their dick can't even work, they probably should be in the female prison to avoid sexual assault, or vice versa. Like, I believe that. I think it would result in less harm.
So, since we're on harm right now, I am a Orthodox Christian catechumen right now. So if I see somebody who is obviously a guy, they look like a guy, I can tell them that they're a guy, but I am supposed to lie to this person, which harms me as a Christian. I feel very hurt because I have to lie to affirm their gender.
Mm-hmm.
How does this not harm me and my belief system?
So their sex never changes. I'm not arguing that the sex at any point changes.
No, I'm talking
if they're
about
referring
their
to gender.
Well,
No,
different.
you're saying that it's a lie, but it's not a lie if you're referring to gender. We're just talking about gender. The sex never changes.
No, is it true? Is it true in society that I can see really guy-looking guys wearing a dress in a tutu,
Sure.
and me blatantly knowing that I could tell that this is a guy? Does that exist in society?
Sure.
Okay, so if this guy wants me to call him a woman, and I, as an Orthodox Christian catechumen, tell him, nah, bro, and the person gets really hurt and upset, but I would be hurt and upset. How does this not harm me? Because now I have to go against Christian orthodoxy to affirm this guy's obvious lie that he's telling me.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, I think Jesus himself had said, he who is without sin cast the first stone. If you're talking about wanting to not affirm, someone's gender identity, I'm not saying that there should be laws against people for affirming a gender identity.
Would it be a sin to lie?
Huh?
Would it be a sin to lie?
But you're not lying. You're referring to gender, not sex.
No,
it's not a lie.
Hold on. Let's backtrack. You've literally told me, and you conceded this by admitting, you said, are there people, and I asked you, are there people who are obviously men that we can tell are men wearing tutus and wigs? You said yes. One of these people we obviously know, according to me and my perception, I know this person's lying. Is that,
but they're not lying. It's just referring to the difference of gender and sex. If you acknowledge the existence of gender being separate from sex,
how are they not lying?
You could just give them the she, her pronouns, and then that's it. It's not you're not lying to them. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what their internal body chemistry is. You don't know. Well, yeah, it's one factor. One factor is being nice. The other is that you're not lying by acknowledging endocrinological differences.
So you want me to be nice and lie to these people? That's your position.
You're not lying by acknowledging endocrinological differences. Are you a person? I'm talking to you.
You just, so in this debate, You literally told me we can't go by the eyeballs, and then you go back to saying, yes, we have to go by how they look. Previously in this debate, you can rewind the tape and footage. Now you want me to jump back. See, this is the problem with your worldview. You want to move it from goalpost to goalpost, and you tell me I moved the goalpost.
You're the one that
Right
moved the
back to this. I
goalpost
can
regarding the
affirmatively
year
see this.
after I substantiated what you requested.
No, objective reality. I'm looking at this and I know it's a lie in my belief system, and I know that I'm lying to them, even though they believe their belief system, they believe they're a woman, and I see hair, I see stubble, deep voice, and they haven't done any transitioning. They have a wig and a tutu on. I know that they're lying and I believe that they're lying. How is this not a sin according to me?
You're not lying by acknowledging gender. It's not a sin because you're not lying. It's referring to gender, not sex. The sex never changes.
So if they say that
If
they're
you're
a
really, and
man,
honestly, if you're really that uncomfortable, like you really do not want to call them she, her pronouns, fine.
I'm
Call them
uncomfortable
they, them. It's
committing
not,
sin.
that is
Yes,
not a
you're
lie
right.
to call
I'm
them they,
uncomfortable
them.
committing sins.
Is it
Yeah.
a lie to, let me ask you this. Is it a
You've
lie to
sinned
call
during
it,
this, you've lied. So,
is it is it a lie to call it they, them?
You should ask for repentance for lying earlier in this debate.
Oh,
But
geez,
anyways,
I'm an atheist. I don't
So-
believe in your magic sky daddy. It's stupid.
Cool.
Anyway, so
I'll
going
do
back
it for
to
you.
it, yeah,
I'll
I don't
pray for you
believe in
against
the
your will. How about
nonsense.
that?
Like, dude, your literal Bible will sit there and tell you that you should rape a female virgin and pay the father 50 shekels of silver. Apologies if I don't use the fucking 2,000-year-old freaking text that nobody
Right now,
should
you're
follow.
violating TOS
Jesus
at the cost of
Christ.
this. That's like
I'm
all
not
these
violating
things. Even
TOS.
amongst
What a
you.
freaking cry bully. As soon
Even
as I
even
push
amongst
back even
you,
a
you're
tiny
having
bit,
a
it
debate
says
right
the
now
most
versus
transphobic
this channel
shit
right now.
the entire time. And then as soon as I give him the tiniest push against his own theology, he goes, oh, you're violating
No, what I'm doing
TOS.
is I'm
Guys,
respecting
ban
Speakeazy's
him. Get
channel.
rid of him. You're a baby,
What I'm doing
dude.
is I'm actually being
How are
respectful
you
of your channel,
that
like you are
you're
respectful of me spending 30
respectful?
minutes
Do you
into a
really
debate.
think you're a
I'm the
respectful
most
individual?
respectful in this debate out of both of us.
Bro,
what are you
I
talking
got
about?
no, dude. I got news for you.
You
You're
lied.
hands
You showed up
down
30
one of
minutes late. So
the
back to this. Can we
worst,
bring it back to the
one of the
debate?
meanest
Okay, back to
arguers.
the
Very
debate.
bad faith. Not interested in
Oh,
addressing
I'm
the
mean because I wanna
endocrinological
lie.
findings.
That's
Not
crazy.
interested in the neurobiological findings. Not interested in the
see it
fact
as
that I can bring up
This is crazy.
for the
So
sake
you
of
have to be
argument. But
one of
then
the
when I brought
craziest
that up,
people
you
I've
said,
seen.
"Oh,
I
well, then I don't
conceded that.
acknowledge
Move
it
forward with
anymore." Yeah, real
I
good, dude.
conceded that so we can move forward with this. So back to this, the debate that you want to go ahead and obfuscate from. So here's the thing though. So trans women are women because they identify as women, but women is now defined as self-identification. How does this not create tautology? Women are people who say they are women. Like, this is crazy. Can
It's
you
not
untangle any of this
yes,
for me?
because the basis of it, the predicate of gender is an internal sense of your sex. And the internal sense of your sex is dictated by a combination of hormones. It can also be influenced by society, and it can also be influenced by how your brain forms at an embryonic stage.
So,
understand?
okay. I hear this right now, but to me, it just fails to meet the requisite as far as like woman, because my
But it's
definition,
not tautological, is it?
that is tautological. It is.
Where's the
because you're
tautology?
talking
Why
about
don't you explain to me,
self-identity.
considering that the basis of it is on the basis of
And
hormones?
This is
Go
late.
ahead.
This is late, but I just want to ask you a question, because I don't want to speak past you this whole fucking debate, even though there's no time left on the clock.
Oh, you've
What's
been
your
doing that this whole
definition of
debate.
woman? What's your definition of woman?
Do you mean by gender or sex?
Let me have both of them.
Okay, sex is typically XX chromosomes that results in secondary phenotypic characteristics such as fat placement around the chest and hips and avoidance around the belly, albeit it can still be pronounced around the belly, receded brow ridge, and more diamond-shaped chin. That's for sex, typically XX chromosomes. However, you can have a XY chromosomes with an androgen insensitivity syndrome, and there's a numerous other endocrinological differences that result in that specific sex. By gender, it's an internal sense of female. The predicate.
So one's a belief system, one is biology.
No. The gender is predicated off of hormones and internal body chemistry, also with the formation of the brain at an embryological level. So it is not feelings. It is exhibited in the biology itself.
So, okay. I hear you what you're saying, right? Has there ever been, and I want an honest answer about this, just on this, because I don't want to speak past you and I don't want you speaking past me. Has there ever been a reaffirming surgery that changed somebody on the cellular level, and has this ever existed?
No.
Okay. So
Again,
I don't
I'm
know what
referring
make
to
of
an
this right now,
internal.
because right
I'm
now,
referring to an internal sense of your sex. We're not referring to
you mean
the
a
sex
belief
itself.
system?
No, because it's based in
So this
biology.
isn't a belief?
No.
Oh, so none of this. I'm glad you just conceded that. So that's not a belief system at all.
Correct.
Okay. So these people don't believe that they are the thing. Their bodies are making them think that they're the thing.
No. You're conflating what a person feels internally to what I think it is. So what I think it is this whole thing is predicated under a basis of hormones and our discovery and understanding of hormones, as well as how the brain forms at an embryological level. We have, for example, exhibited third genders across different cultures. For example, you can look up Indian hijras have existed for thousands of years, having been considered effectively a third gender, and even to this day are now effectively referred to as a member of the transgender community, because it's this understanding that not everybody matches perfectly in the male-female spectrum. There's something that happens internally, which we've been able to determine chemically how that mechanism arrives, and been able to exhibit different striations in the brain, which result in somebody feeling that way.
All righty. So that's gonna be the wrap up for the hour open floor. We're gonna get into the 5-minute closing statements for each side. Again, want to thank both the debaters for coming. Guys, if you want to find the debaters, they're both in the description of this live here. So go ahead and find them there. Go give them a sub. Show them support for coming out. With the closing statements, like I said, I like to have always have one person have the first word and the other have the last. So for the opening statements, First Amender is going to go first again, and that'll give Marte the last word. So First Amender, whenever you're ready for your closing statement, I will start up your 5-minute timer with your voice.
Okay. Well, the argument for regarding trans individuals, I believe, has a very empirical basis behind it. And the fact that we can observe multiple fields of study able to acknowledge the existence of trans people, and not soft sciences, but literal hard sciences, where if you're referring to somebody needing a different type of hormone profile among endocrinologists, to different striations in the brain, which result in atypical behavioral characteristics as well as internal feelings that can be exhibited, to psychologically speaking, where, simply asking them questions if they are trained regarding transgender research would be able to show instances, for example, trans individuals possessing gender dysphoria versus not gender dysphoria. And yes, there do exist trans people who do not have gender dysphoria. Being trans in and of itself is not a mental disorder. I'm glad my opponent did not say that, thankfully. By acknowledging it, and honestly, like I plead to just about anybody who is like on the right to really consider, pick up any endocrinological book regarding gender or neurobiology or any of these other hard sciences. You don't even have to pick psychology or sociology or any of those. The existence of trans people can be exhibited across those fields of study. So ask yourself this. The only people that are pushing back against this is often right-wing talk shows that don't actually have any knowledge on these particular fields of study. So ask yourself this: could I be wrong? Think about that. Considering that you're talking about all these fields of study, 5 separate ones. I think there's 6 or 7 actually. And all of the scientists come to this same conclusion of the existence of trans people and gender being different from sex. Could you be wrong? We've been fed all sorts of anti-trans propaganda from the right, from podcasts, from politicians, from pretty much anybody who's not qualified to discuss this subject, saying that trans people don't exist, even conflating things like gender and sex together. For example, I think Donald Trump himself said that there's only two genders. I don't really understand what he exactly meant by that. I assume what he meant by that was by sex, but again, like, he was too stupid to really understand what was even going on. And if you just pick up the studies on what is being studied here, right? And it doesn't even, I mean, you could look at Australian studies, New Zealand studies. You could look at, heck, there was that one Sweden study that a lot of right wingers like to look at that was like saying that we shouldn't affirm trans people, but there have been numerous rebuttals on that, right? Pick up a book, like seriously, just read a book on this subject. Don't just listen to podcasts. I understand that this, gets people all riled up and really excited and wanting to say there's only man and woman. There's, it's only Adam and Eve. There can't be, but we've discovered, intersex people. We've discovered hormonal differences that are atypical of male and female exhibiting itself in the brain. We've discovered these things. All you have to do is just acknowledge it. And with that, I cede my conclusion. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that closing statement. And with that, we'll give the mic over to Marte for your 5-minute closing statement. And a reminder for the chat, we're going to do a 30-minute Q&A after this, so get your questions in. We've already received quite a bit of Super Chat, so if you want to make sure you get your question read, send it through Super Chat. And after the Q&A, it's optional for both the debaters, but we will be opening up the panel for people to come up and discuss the topic at hand. All right. But with that, I'll give you the mic, Marte. Whenever you're ready, I will start the timer up with your voice.
So this is very funny. He brings up Donald Trump bringing up two sexes. When we look at intersex people, they said they were one sex. Nobody said he's an in-betweener. Doesn't exist, hasn't happened. And if he talks about chimeras or anything like this is what, 10 people on Earth? And it's like, even then, it's very skeptical. Like, so I don't get the fact that he had zero argument to a debate. To me, this doesn't really make any sense. So when I brought up things like, the doppelganger paradox, and here's the thing though, if trans women are indistinguishable from women, why disclose trans status? Right? Because of safety, he says, but non-disclosure leads to deceptive accusations now. So this requires special treatment with trans women while insisting on identical treatment, just women. So this doesn't make any sense. When I brought that up, he was never able to reconcile that, bringing in just, I don't know. And that's it. So even when we bring up things, even if I conceded in this debate or when I conceded during this debate, just to move past this and brought up must studies, which he references college up. And these are just indoctrination places, and then discounts podcast where experts in the field show up on podcasts, all this other stuff, and then alludes to Marte. All you watch is podcasts. So right now, like, this is just ridiculous. He's just pointing out to things that he can't even prove himself or even show anything that's a justification for why he could even say this from just what I present on YouTube. That's it. That's pretty much how this debate went, is just, I feel this, I think this, that's it. Not like, let me show you this, because when he did show me something and I said, where in 2025 does this happen? Proceeds to show me some data, which I accept. I'd be like, okay, cool. Never saw a date. Then during this, he says, oh, it was from 2025. Then later on, if you can rewind the tape, says, oh, there was no date. So, and then proceeds to tell me, oh, they're not lying if you were to go ahead and affirm somebody's gender. And it's like, well, no, I reject that notion to say that they're separate as far as gender and sex. I've continued to reject this. So also he failed this as well too. When I asked him, how am I not sinning? Well, to me, that's a sin. So I guess I'm just continuing not to sin because he tells me be nice. And then that's it. To me, this wasn't even a real debate. This guy got stomped and was disrespectful showing up 30 minutes late to a debate where obviously he was unprepared for this because the studies that he brought up didn't even answer the question. Because to me, it's like, I mean, you can go ahead and say, well, there's parts of it answered. No, but not all of it. So that's it. I didn't even get a solid answer from this guy. To me, I just had answers from questions I never even asked. Right. So when I brought up, how do you make a thing look more like a thing? He then brought up women's breasts. But then when we dived into this, it's like, no, you can't show the intention, which is hard to prove in a debate. There's no demonstration of intention here. Right. So even if I can even go down this road, nope, he didn't want to do this. He just wanted to go back to my studies. Right. So to me, a lot of this is unreliable on his end because he tells me I'm just a podcaster and I just look at podcasts, but the data that he shows doesn't
go
even
back to most studies.
I'm supposed to believe this shit from him. What a crock of horse shit that this guy even is allowed to debate. And that's the thing though. He shows up after being defeated by Rachel Wilson, Andrew, Jake Rattlesnake, and then me. This is crazy. You must be a sadist showing up to take L's repeatedly. Maybe they form a W for you because that I can maybe believe. I'll even buy that for $1, not referencing RoboCop again. But that's the thing, though. Did RoboCop even try to go ahead and put parts on him to look more like a man? I don't know. That's another question for another day. You can't even fucking answer anything that I just asked. So you diverted the whole time and just called me a maggot and all this other stuff. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. So back to this. I'm going to end this on a final conclusion that you love. I'm not going to accept the ideology from mentally ill people. And this president who is currently your president, Donald Trump, who is the commander in chief, who we all adore and is your president, by the way. I'm going to reaffirm that. If we're going to reaffirm anything, let me show you objective reality. He is your president right now, and I can see my time and leave it at that. That's it.
All right. Thank you for that closing statement. And with that, we're going to get into the Q&A portion. And I always, take some notes down during the debate, and I always ask both sides a question before we do that. So I'll start with for Marte's side, the disagreeing side. If like the idea of gender is a social construct, what is the objective standard that you believe society needs to define woman?
I would say because my definition is that woman is a biological female that is associated with the sex that can give birth, right? So if we think about this, I'm not going to side with the belief that these genetic dead ends that have mentally ill, I would say, belief systems, I would not think that this is compatible with any of the belief, because we can see from objective reality, these women are generally associated with the assigned people that can have birth that we can even see. Even I can use the word assigned, because if you're an 80-year-old woman and you can't have birth, you're still associated with the sex and gender that can't have birth. So if it's incompatible by that, socially, we can look at this as a metric and to say, okay, that, take this off the mat. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. And first, Amanda, did you have anything you wanted to say to that?
I mean, he's like calling these people genetic dead ends. Number one, trans men can have babies still, and they do have babies, some of them. And there's also the fact that trans women will adopt children. These are not genetic dead ends. They can have more kids. It's okay. In fact, this has exhibited itself throughout the animal kingdom, where you can exhibit gay couples adopting abandoned children. That actually helps propagate the species.
So outsourcing
it is also the fact.
dead end.
It is also the fact that, well, again, it doesn't even acknowledge trans men. And then the second problem is you're saying that the common trope that that trans people are just are mentally ill. That's actually not true. Gender dysphoria is separate from being trans in and of itself. Gender dysphoria is referring to the negative feeling that is associated of being the separate gender from sex. However, you can, for example, be trans. You can, for example, be transgender and not possess this negative feeling.
You can think you're a plane, and I can think I'm a gorilla if I put a gorilla suit on and be happy about that.
This
Doesn't
has
mean that
nothing to
I'm
do.
not a
Yeah,
gorilla.
there's no like endocrinological finding of planes or grills. Those aren't
Gorilla.
biological. Yeah, a gorilla. There's no allele frequency that allows you to be more gorilla-like. I'm sorry, it's just not. That's not how the genetics works. That's not how the endocrinology works or the biology works.
Even
It
so,
doesn't
that
work
goes
that
to
way.
my point. But
However, it can
moving
be
on.
observed for trans individuals. These exhibits.
yeah, I don't think I've heard of a mentally ill gorilla before, but I've heard of mentally ill people.
There are
But
mentally
anyways,
ill
moving
gorillas.
forward.
We've exhibited those as well.
What? yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Anyways,
Yeah, there are gorillas that have been taught the concept of death, who basically like end up having some level of neurosis as a result. Yeah.
I'm willing to move forward with this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Do more reading.
So, and then one for the pro side, for First Amendment side. If gender identity alone can define womanhood, how do we distinguish between gender identity and the biological sex, and like legal context or any of this, without like erasing a meaningful difference?
Yeah, I mean, the sex never changes, so it's not going away. All I'm doing is just adding on to it, saying, hey, yeah, also gender. Sex, you're just referring to it as sex, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, yes, also gender.
Okay. So you're not saying maybe I got something wrong earlier. I thought you said that gender identity alone can would make someone a woman. So that's what I was
By
saying.
gender.
Yeah, by gender. So like, how
sex
would you
never changes. No trans person ever thinks
the-
that the sex changes, right? You're still XY or XX chromosomes. It never changes. There's no amount of surgery that's going to undo that. It's not going to undo, having large or small gametes, or, you can, however, change secondary sex characteristics such as breasts, fat placement, how the skin feels. These things can change, however. With hormone replacement therapy.
Okay. All right. And with that, we'll get into the 30-minute Q&A here. So let's bring up the super chats. A few of us got roasted here tonight. I definitely got roasted when you guys started talking about strap-ons and everything.
I'm
so.
sorry. I didn't mean to.
Don't worry, it's okay.
I didn't mean to reveal
No
everybody
worries,
your
no
fetish.
worries. I'm
messing with
okay
you.
with it.
That's a joke.
I get it. Comes with streaming. That's just how it goes. So our first question comes in from Uncle Tiger. First Amender, you can't even show up on time for your verbal obliteration. Very unprofessional.
Listen.
Do you want to answer it?
Yeah. So, I mean, out of all of the debates that I've done dozens of these. This is the first one that I've actually showed up late for. I'm just going to be honest with you. I didn't put it on my calendar. And so it's a mess up on my part where I should not have done that. And I agree with you that it is disrespectful, and I apologize in advance for doing that. I'm not a perfect individual. And in this situation, I just totally forgot about it. I was playing an online game and thinking that I had nothing to do today. So my apologies in advance.
Yeah, he showed up later than a trans woman's
appreciate an
period,
apology. So,
which
what?
never shows up. But anyways,
I missed that. Sorry, what was that, Martin?
he showed up later than a trans woman's period, which is the month of February.
Never worry. All right. We got $2. Can a biological woman be a trans woman? So you did answer it, but if you want to,
the answer is no. It's simple. So a trans woman just simply means born male and has transitioned to female. That's trans woman. Trans man is where you have a biological woman has transitioned to male. So when you're referring to can a woman transition into themselves, no, they would just be a cisgendered woman. There is no transition. They're just that.
did you have anything for that, Marte?
Nah, it's like he's gonna have to hold a big ass L on that. Let's move forward.
All right. We got $5 from Lauren. Says no question, because there is no question. A trans woman cannot and never will be a woman. WEZ, W mods, and W chat. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate the support. To First Amender, do you actually believe that the rare case of intersex justifies the entire ideology of transgenderism, or do you just pretend to believe that
So it's
as part
not
of your grift?
it's not a grift. I read on the subject, and I used to be on your guys' side where I was like, this is nonsense. I think it was back in 2015 when it started reaching vogue. I was like, this is nonsense. This is insane. But I was like, you know what? This is what I always do. I always read what I disagree with, right? And sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised. For example, I used to be a libertarian. I've converted to a Democrat. I'm now a Democrat as a result of just reading. And so I decided to actually read about the subject of trans people. And I started realizing, holy crap, this is way more empirical than I thought. I thought it was just nonsense, just like you guys. I did. It was just enough reading that made me realize, oh, there's actually a lot more to this.
So you're a former base person. Got it. You transition from being base to like, doctrinated by universal must studies. Got it. Okay.
I mean, I just think it's really cringy to refer to somebody as based or unbased. I mean, it's just, if you think like me acknowledging reality is unbased, then I guess I'm the most unbased individual ever. And you have to sit there and ignore 5 completely separate fields of study in order to acknowledge your ridiculous worldview.
It's funny because in the last debate with Andrew, you said if Rachel was a trans woman, that would be base. So this is ironic right now. But anyways, moving forward.
All right. So we got $10 coming in from Daniel Zan. If brain scans can prove someone's a trans woman, what do we make of men with identical scans who don't identify that way? Did the MRI misgender them, or are they misgendering themselves?
So this is actually really interesting. I would be willing to acknowledge that there could for sure be a social aspect to this. A lot of it, when it is strictly social, they often grow out of it, which is why I argue in favor of things like the WPATH standards of care, which is to basically go through a psychological evaluation to determine whether or not that they actually need to transition in adolescence. And for a majority of kids, it's not necessary. They don't actually need a transition of such as hormone blockers. A simple social transition, and then they grow out of it, is appropriate in those situations. I'm willing to acknowledge that it could be entirely social. But with that being said, the study that recognized the existence of trans people on the basis of differences in brain phenotypes, it was exhibited in over 98% of self-affirming trans people.
So I'm going to respond to that too. So these are my notes, right? Because I took some pretty decent notes, right? So in these notes, because I took a shit ton in study for this, unlike him telling me that I just looked at YouTube and podcasts. But anyways, back to this. I have something that I wrote down. Why do brain scan studies, meta-analysis in neuroscience in biobehavior reviews show trans women's brains more closely resembling male patterns than female ones? So this is the problem.
Because it's something in between. It's not, it doesn't mean that it turns into woman. It's something in between. And this could be exhibited over and over among trans men and trans women.
So the problem with this is when I told you that there's no in-betweeners, you were silent. So, I mean, you now have an answer conveniently right now. And I've actually allowed you to use ChatGPT, whatever, because here's the thing. I don't use ChatGPT. I don't honestly believe that you've had, you know what? I'm not even going to assume whatever you were doing, typing at nauseum here. Like,
yeah,
this is what I'm saying.
Notepad plus plus. I mean, I can show you my notes on Notepad plus.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to go into
this. That's what I was typing.
Because you couldn't address the other things, so we couldn't move forward in the discussion. That was a big dilemma for you in this whole debate, and you couldn't get past. I answered all the questions. You couldn't answer one, but
you ignored multiple of my questions, and I've answered every single question you threw at me quickly and with a very concise yes or no answer. However, in order for me to ask you simple questions, you had to sit there answering questions with other questions, go on constant non sequiturs to the point that I'm asking the question 7 or 8 times. I'm waving my hand in front of the camera saying, "Am I talking to a robot right now? Why are you not answering the question? Answer the question. And that could be exhibited
When
in
I
this,
asked,
in this
when I
argument.
caught you in a lie.
I do love though the projection though. So that
isn't
really does show
projection.
some.
We can
You
rewind
literally
this
are
and see
doing
why
exactly
I
that.
caught.
You're projecting. That's hilarious.
No, you like talking over people when you get busted and called out. But anyways,
What?
moving
No,
forward, what's
because
your
you don't
super
have an answer to these basic endocrinological questions
Yeah,
because
but I don't-
you haven't read about
I
it.
didn't
You don't know
lie to
anything
you.
about it. You don't know nothing.
It's ironic.
You're just in your own little
Oh,
echo
hold on.
chamber
It's
and
ironic you
cannot
want me to lie- you
cannot
want me to lie to
understand
these
things
people,
outside
but
of that.
you lie to
Things
me.
have to work within your God
what?
worldview. Like I don't know, like
First
drowning
Amendment,
everybody with
you're
like Noah's
dish-gouting
flood.
again.
I'm just curious. Do you
Back
believe
to
that
the-
Noah's flood happened? Just curious. I just
So-
want to be. I'm just curious.
Back to this before
Did
I
Noah's
you
flood
talk
happen?
about
I'm
Noah's
just
flood.
curious. I just
You
want to know.
asked
Just
if-
non sequitur. I just want to
this
hear.
isn't a non
Do you
sequitur. This is
do
a
you
debate.
think
First
that
Amendment. First
the
Amendment.
entire world
Let
flooded?
me get
Yes
this
or
straight.
no?
First Amendment. You want me to lie to people
Did
about
the
their
entire
genuine
world
sex?
flood?
You
Yes
can
or
lie to me
no?
during a debate. How
Oh
is
my
that
God.
ironic?
He
How
can't
is
do
that
it.
All right, this is a little off
He's
topic.
pathetic.
Let's read the next one.
He's so pathetic.
Let's
Crazy.
go to the next one.
He
First
said, "I can't
Amendment.
answer questions."
What makes someone with a trans brain not trans if they don't identify as one? So similar to the last question. Almost.
Yeah, I mean it's an internal feeling of your sex. It's complicated. There's a lot of different factors that result in somebody internally feeling that way. There's a lot of biological factors that are aimed towards feeling that way, but maybe there are societal factors where they're saying, "Oh, well, I don't want to come out and I'm just going to say, hey, I'm a man. I'm going to bottleneck this down. I'm going to push it down. I'm going to pretend like it doesn't exist." I would imagine that also is a thing. So that's just another example of, maybe we should just be more accepting of trans people in general. So these people can live the life that they wish.
Do you have anything for that, Marte?
Nah, it's just going to be the same shit. Let's move forward. It's crazy.
Alrighty. And then we got Shazzy Bear coming in with 10 pounds. I'm a woman and it makes me angry when men try to copy us real women. I've had kids and they can't, so trans don't exist. God created man and woman.
Yeah. So this is the problem of religious zealotry. There also exist XXY or XY that has an androgen insensitivity syndrome, or X0 or XO. It's not as simple as like just man and woman. We already know this to be a fact. It's more complex than you would assume. There's also the fact that there are real women that can't have babies. So the fact that you can have babies, congratulations, but there's plenty of biological women that also cannot have babies. That doesn't make them any less of women. It's kind of, I mean, there will come a day that you will go through menopause and you will no longer be able to have babies, but you're still a woman. So there's that. I mean, you could get angry, I guess, but I just recommend to pick up a endocrinology book and then realize that, okay, maybe there's more to this than I once thought. Thank you.
Do you have anything for that, Marte?
I think she's totally justified about this, because if you can't reaffirm her belief system and you're going to go ahead and offer any refutation about this, oh, you're not being nice to her because she, is saying that she's a biological woman. I think it's crazy because it's like a double standard that we utter, when we go ahead and try to refute any of this. It's like, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's like, I don't know. None of this makes sense. But when he tries to untangle all this, and I brought up paradoxes, just like this right now, she presents, even with her feelings, it's like, but her feelings coincide with biology, whereas he's referring to something that's a hard science that's laden with pseudosciences all throughout. But anyways, back to this.
All right. Next one comes in. The little freak needs to grow some balls from Shazzy. I don't know which one's the freak.
She's on one, man.
We got $5 coming in from Anthony. Amanda, do you acknowledge trans men because you got swirlies from them entering your bathrooms and bullying you?
I mean, this is
Trans
This is all that the right can do. The right actually has no papers. They have no arguments. The only argument they have is jeering and shit throwing. I've presented multiple studies, and I did also present endocrinological findings. I even had to go over sex differentiation that could be observed among rats. Again, the studies are on my side. The empirical data is on my side. It's just up to you to acknowledge it.
The problem with this is this proposition that you get forth
Is right-winger stupidity and stuck
hold on,
on a
I didn't interrupt
2,000-year-old
you.
book.
I didn't interrupt you. Look how rude you are right now,
I don't
not being
care.
nice to
Hey,
me.
did
Anyway,
a
back
global
to
flood
this.
happen?
When I asked
How old
you
is the
about
Earth?
the rat thing, I'm not dealing with non sequiturs right
Did the
now. Can we
global
deal with
flood
this argument?
happen?
We're in the middle of
How
this
old is the
debate right
Earth?
now. We're dealing with this debate right now. When I asked you about looks, eyeballs, right? So we're
No, I
we're
just
looking
want to
at
gauge your
look.
empirical, your
You
ability
went
to determine
you went
truth.
through feelings and behavior.
Yeah.
So to me, it's
How
like
old's
the
the
studies
Earth?
you presented, you couldn't even address what I even asked you. And then when I asked you about previous studies to go ahead and legitimize this as 2025, you couldn't even do that. So,
Yeah.
and then you didn't bring up studies. You said studies plural. You brought
Well,
up
it did say copyrighted
right?
2025, but okay.
And then you said you didn't. So
Well,
you
it
lied
does
again.
say at the
Oh,
bottom of
God.
the page, copyright 2025. So
You lied again. So that's
not a
another
lie.
lie.
It's there. I mean, do you
Just-
want
now
me
you're
to
being
show
honest.
it to
You're
you?
switching
I'll
back
show
and
it
forth.
to you. Do you really need to say and keep saying that it's a lie when I'm not lying to you? Also,
So
just FYI, a mistake.
now you're
just
lying about the lie.
FYI,
This
just to point
crazy.
out, a mistake is not and has never been a lie. Intent is required for it to be a lie.
Do you know that
But
there's
then
a lie
again,
of
that's like
omission that happens?
but then
What's a
again,
lie of
that's just
omission?
idiocy. No,
What's
that's
a
not.
lie of omission?
Yeah, a lie of omission also requires intent. You dotard. Holy crap.
Correct. It
How are you
requires
this
intent.
stupid?
You know that you're asserting it.
Yeah, I'm
the other
not
way.
arguing
Nice both
from
ways.
if somebody is mistaken, then I'm
Wait,
mistaken.
you're giving
but
intent
you're
to me.
assuming
How
that I
ironic.
am applying intent. Let me ask you this.
What's
How
your
old's the
metadata?
Earth?
Let's continue. What's
How
the
old's
next
the
one?
Earth? How old's the Earth, Christ tard? How old's the Earth?
Maybe we this is a good debate topic for another time for sure.
Yeah, you can't answer questions as usual.
I will destroy you in the
$5
next
comes in
video.
from
All right.
Uncle Tiger, says Speakeazy is a benevolent moderator. We must all pay homage. Thank you very much, Uncle Tiger. I appreciate your support. Next one comes in from Pizza Boy. First Amender looks like Josh Peck from Drake and Josh. Actually kind of grown like as an adult now, right? You're talking about? Actually, I kind of see the similarities now that you're saying it. You know who he's talking about?
I think.
The show from I think it was the Disney Channel, Drake and Josh, and like him as an adult, you kind of look like him actually.
Okay.
Now that this was pointed out, it makes sense. It's not a diss. I don't think he's dissing that. He's not like a weird looking guy.
Well, I appreciate it if you guys if you like what I have to say, or maybe you hate what I have to say, consider a subscribe. I'm a very small YouTuber, so any amount counts.
True. Slade comes in for $5, says tomboys often have lots of babies when they mature, boys and girls. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes tomboys they grow out of it as they get older. Others do not. And sometimes in extreme situations, they feel that they are a man trapped in a woman's body, and they find that they have endocrine differences than that of typical cisgendered counterparts. It depends on the level that it's at, and it's dependent on all sorts of different factors, most of them chemical.
So of course he would take the trans side of this and then warp it into that. I take this as like, if you are a woman and then you associate with boys a lot, the problem with this is like, this actually proves my whole point that if women are drawn towards their biological imperative and they hang around boys more, guess what's going to happen? Reproduction and birth and all these other things that happen with natural women. But anyways, yeah. Next
or if
one.
they possess an endocrinological disorder, disabling them from being able to have babies. But okay.
All right, we got also became a YouTube member, Uncle Tiger. Thank you very much. I appreciate that support. Another one comes in from Daniel Zan. First Amender, if someone's born a male, you're a dickhead, Daniel, has long dyed hair, earrings, tongue ring, acts feminine, clearly liberal, and from Canada, does that make him a trans woman?
Shots fired.
I don't know. I would just ask them.
They're talking about his doppelganger, by the way, chat. I know you guys are. That's his doppelganger that I brought
He's
up.
throwing shots at me now.
Nah, they're throwing shots at your doppelganger. That's what it is. Good reference point. Yeah.
Next one comes in from Uncle Tiger, First Amender. Why can't you just take the L? People would respect you more.
Because the science is on my side and all you have is rhetoric. You have no argument. Your whole argument is entirely emotional and it doesn't actually have a basis in biology. I explained the biology as plain as day. It's up to you as to whether or not you're willing to acknowledge gender being different from sex.
So the problem with this is you brought up be nice and you brought up feels more than me in this conversation. Ironic, isn't
Did you
that?
just happen
And then
to glaze over on the fact that I showed you physical brains and how the brains are physically different for trans individuals than they are of their cisgendered counterparts? Did you just happen
funny.
to like sleep over on that and just completely
funny
go,
because-
boring? Where's my
This is
TikTok?
funny
Like,
because
dude,
I
what is
conceded
this
that, but
argument?
he's the only person.
Yeah,
that'll
so
bring
then
up
you would
concessions
acknowledge the
that I've
difference between
made.
gender and sex.
On my end, as if I
Jesus
never
Christ.
made a
These
concession.
fucking
This is crazy.
idiots.
And
God,
then
they're so dumb.
what is this? It's an
They're
L,
all
right?
so
Objective
dumb.
reality, right? Objective
Yeah,
reality.
I'm showing you objective
You need
reality,
to
and you're
L
being an
to
idiot
W.
and just be
That's how
like,
he gets
no,
the
there
W."
can only be man and woman. Me no understand endocrinology. Me never read anything. Me no like trans people. Trans people bad. Trans people abuse real women. Me mad. You fucking idiot. You're a dumbass. You don't know what you're talking about.
Just asserting that somebody's an idiot doesn't show them that they're an idiot. But anyway,
Well, but
crazy
you
fun.
are an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a moron.
Can't demonstrate. I don't know.
You
what I'm
talk
talking
as
about.
if you know what you're talking about.
Let's
You
get
you
to the
actually know
next one
nothing.
here. Next
Next
one
one.
comes in. First, I'm not reading that. Darth Maul, don't be. What the hell is that? Anyway.
That was actually a pretty big question. Actually, I like that.
I'm not reading that
Because we
shit.
couldn't engage with the hypotheticals.
First,
I think that's a good
what
question.
is Darth Maul, I love you. All right, but come on. First, what is a woman? And don't try to jazz hands around the question. Just actually answer.
Gender by gender, woman is woman is an internal sense of female. By sex, it is a large gametes, typically XX chromosomes.
So for his definition, he'll tell you
There's
that
two,
they
just
can
like
be
how there's
both
two
the
definitions
same
for
if they
bat.
feel like it, and that's all this
Yeah,
boils down
so just
to.
how there,
is
just like how there are
feels.
two. No,
All the
because there
first
are
amendment,
two.
you
Just
always
like how there are
interrupt people when
two
I try to talk.
definitions of bat,
Notice
there can
how I
be
never
two
said
definitions
anything
of
when he
woman.
fucking talked.
God,
Notice
Jesus
I didn't
Christ,
interrupt him when
he's so
he talked.
dumb. Look at him. God.
Then all of a sudden,
Man,
even though I think
That
his
all that Trent you took has just got that little pea brain of freaking working, isn't it? Look at you.
So anyways, back to this. I have an autoimmune disorder. I can't take steroids. But anyways, back to this, and still fucking turn pro, which to my credit is good because I didn't fucking use anything to transition into a pro bodybuilder. But anyways, back to this. So the problem with this is he is saying that, oh, if you feel like this, you can be the thing. But also if you don't feel like this, you're already the thing. But to me, it's like everything's conflated and not conflated at once. None of his positions are repetitive, firm, fair, consistent on his end.
They are consistent. It's just there's two definitions, albeit that might be difficult for somebody with a sub 100 IQ to figure out. Yes. Go ahead. Continue.
Alrighty. Next one comes in from Kokomo for Speakeazy's butt cream, hon. You're an asshole. Thank you, Kokomo, for the support. All right. And then for I'm guessing this is another butt cream, isn't this? And coffee. Well, I appreciate the coffee, Shazzy. All right. Thank you very much. This was these were coming in when you guys were coming up with the examples. $5 comes in from Bernard Desar. If every proposition ultimately resolves to being either true or false, can a spectrum exist in the truth of the outcome or in reaching it?
So this comes with an error in that you feel that it must either be true or false, aka the law of excluded middle. You can actually look at what is a black and white fallacy. Just because you have a black, that you can conceive of a black and white doesn't mean that spectrums do not exist. There are gradients, there are half-lives, and it's not either or, it's gradual, and that's kind of how gender itself can be a spectrum. It does not have to be included in the law of excluded middle. I hope that helps.
It's funny because they'll sit there and tell you that real women are real women, but then trans women just turn into inanimate objects all of a sudden. That's been his whole debate in Spectrum.
I never refer to trans women as inanimate objects. I don't know where you got
They're
that.
objects. They become objectified now all of a sudden. It's weird. That's what all this refers
you're
to.
talking about.
Yeah.
Unironically, have no idea what you're talking about. Not my argument, not what I'm saying. That's called a straw man into a false equivalency.
All right. We got
Hilarious.
you guys are dickheads. All right. Thank you for the support, but come on now. A new rumor for the trolls. We got $10 coming from Uncle Tiger. Easy is the living definition of stoicism. His ability to hold back his laughter is truly legendary. Thank you. Thank you very much, Uncle Tiger. I appreciate the support, especially with all these shots getting fired at me. All right. Gives this to extra sweet speak. All right. I'll make sure he gets it.
They're going in on you, Speak. That's crazy, bro.
It's your guys' fault. 2 pounds comes in from Shazzy, says super chat goal. Thank you very much, Shazzy. $5 comes in from Verna Desar. If someone puts on a Transformer costume, does that make them a Transformer? Is it a spectrum?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I was talking to chat. My apologies.
Oh, no worries. If someone puts on a Transformer costume, does that make them a Transformer? Is it a spectrum? I think they mean like a literal, like...
No, there's no like biology tied to wearing a costume. That's just social.
All right. Did you have anything, Marte?
Nah, it's like all this right now that he's just uttering right now. It's like he doesn't know it, but he's proving my whole argument. The more he goes on with this, it's this is just good. I mean, it's good on my part.
All right. All right. $5 comes in from Slade. Should tomboys transition?
I think it's dependent on how somebody feels internally.
Feels. Well, but all of a sudden it's like
dictated by biology.
He asserts that we have feels in emotional arguments.
Yeah, which is dictated by biology. Does testosterone make you feel more aggressive? Yes. All I'm doing is saying, okay, so if you have this specific hormonal phenotype, it results in this kind of feeling. We can often observe a person feeling a specific way, and then when we measure them, we see this specific endocrinological phenotype. That's what I'm saying.
When women get too much estrogen, they too can become aggressive. That's not mutually exclusive.
Yes. So you agree that a person feeling a specific way can result in a specific hormone. Jesus Christ.
It can cause a certain behavior, but it doesn't change it on the cellular level. When I asked you this,
nobody is making that argument. Nobody is making that argument. Nobody is sitting there saying, God, he's such an idiot. He still cannot acknowledge the difference between gender and sex. Fucking idiot.
I reject that. I still reject it.
God, yeah, I know you reject it, but for the sake of argument, I conceded to it. Fucking,
that's not what I conceded to.
So, all right, we got $5. $5 from Crucible Crusader. This is for the poor, defenseless rats and gerbils that First Amender experimented with to create a chart.
They didn't do anything to the rats. All they did was just analyze that, hey, there's a row of rats, male, female, and then we're able to exhibit behavioral characteristics. I mean, sure. I mean, I guess there's instances where they kill the rats. Sure. I mean, I don't, who cares? It's a rat. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
All right. We got $2 from Fisher, the Breeze Builder. Marte took L to Destiny and now First Amender.
So I'll say this. Destiny could never prove that it was an insurrection. Throughout the whole debate, I still have it on my channel. He's never proven this. And then not to mention this Gish Gallop, when I called him on his own bullshit. So obviously you were watching on the liberal channel, come check it out on my channel. You'll see the distinction is different there too. This has been covered by 2 debate channels as well too, especially with Cool Vic, who has also done debate analysis on this as well too. So when you say I took an L from him, all you're doing is warping your sense of reality, which is in your head. Again, twice. Yeah.
All right. Let me see here. We got Shazzy says, "Hey, fucktard, I'm the matriarch of my family. I turned 60 today. Thank you."
Salute to you, Shazzy Bear. Based take.
Oh, okay.
Based. All right. We got 50. Sorry. 50 comes in from Ken. Thank you for this big donation here. According to endocrinology, a man with brain activity patterns similar to the female average is not automatically a trans woman. You still need the individual to identify as the opposite sex, which means endocrinology is irrelevant.
No, it means that it is a factor to consider when measuring them. Obviously, there's more to it than just simply endocrinology. This can also be exhibited at an embryological level. There's also exhibiting itself neurobiologically. This can it can also be exhibited. There's also societal factors that can influence someone deciding that they're trans. All of these are factors, right? And I'm just pointing out one of them, so that helps.
All right.
So endocrinology does not prove this? That's crazy.
It's one
Good
factor.
stuff, man.
Jesus fuck.
doesn't prove it solo, but you need all these other correlates.
Dude, they can't fucking figure it out. Holy shit. Big brain, hard word.
This comes in, I mean, this has nothing to do with the topic. I mean, thank you for the support, but Beatdown Andrew Wilson are non-state recognized unions subject to the family court. Have you ever heard of palimony? I mean, this is just a whole different topic. Thank you for the donation. I mean, if you ever want to talk to me about this one-on-one, I mean, I'd have no problem. Or anyone here, I'm sure would too. Stay strapped. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Thank you, Wicked Wally. Okay. The original vintage comes in for $10, says you keep quoting the number of studies and disregarding its quality, not quantity. If you have 2,000 studies that assert 1 + 1 = 5, does that make it true then? If not, why are your studies reputable?
I'd probably read why 1 + 1 = 5, because obviously mathematically that doesn't make any sense. So I would probably want to understand where are they coming at with this so I can understand their perspective. But again, like, it's not as simple as 1 + 1 = 5. We're talking about very complex functions in the body, in the brain, and as well as how somebody develops at an embryonic stage. And these are not considered when it comes to, podcasters on the right. They're not actually interested in the science. They just want to get, oh, look at this. I dunked on a liberal today. It looks like I won. Now I can move on. They didn't actually learn anything. They don't know anything of this subject.
So original vintage actually brings up a really good point. With the rats, there was no date on that. The second one, you said, oh, I don't have a date. Then you said you do. Now you say you don't. And then that's back to you do again. So it's like flip-flopping with the studies. So it's like the quality, I mean, I don't buy that. You're just bringing up like Xerox copies with me and all this, just making these assertions. Well, I'm just like, okay, even if I do concede points in a debate, taking a fat ass L, that's crazy. Like, and then the studies.
So this particular chart that you see here is redrawn with permission from R.L. Meisel and I.L. Ward. Female fetal rats are masculinized by littermates located caudally in the uterus. This is in Science, page 213, 239 to 242, copyright 1981.
Cool. At least I finally got a fucking date out of you. That's amazing. It took all that time. What is it, 3 hours to bring up one date? It's crazy work here.
Well, the article that I presented and the feminizing rats uterus picture are two separate things, but I know that's really hard for your brain, I guess, to figure out.
All right, we got another 10 comes in here from Original Vintage. Says, you've debated this topic with multiple people, and when you get debunked and contradict your own assertions, why do you resort to ad homs and insults? You're not arguing the debate and proving nothing.
Oh, because of how ridiculously flagrant they are. They're not actually interested in learning anything. They just want to get dunks and gotchas. So I play ball. In terms of where did I contradict myself and my own assertions? I did not do so. Yes, I did ad hom and insult, because when all you do is just kind of repeat the same thing over and over in order to poison the well, I'm going to play ball. So,
when I ask an original question and don't get a concise answer, it's kind of muddying the waters.
It requires like more than triple digit IQ to kind of like understand and encapsulate difficult concepts. I can't bring it down to you at the level of a TikTok feed because it's complicated endocrinology. That's why. Right? You're an idiot that doesn't understand anything. And so I can't break it down for like an idiot to understand. I try to just show you, and hopefully you understand the study. That's all I can provide you.
Let Marte give his answer.
Original Vintage brings up a really good point, because when I did call the date out and I asked for the date specifically, he's calling it dunks and all this. I specifically asked this, and then to which that answer.
Why does the date matter?
So hold on real quick. Just let me finish this.
Just curious. Why does the date matter?
So back to this, when I asked for something.
Just let him get it out. Let him get it out.
It doesn't fucking matter. All I asked for was an answer to the question.
Okay, so it doesn't matter. It's
You're
just
big
there
on
to
it.
be
Hold on.
pedant. What is a pedant?
You need a Zoloft or some medication right now.
Do you
know
know what a pedant is?
Right now. Hold on. Can I just fucking say something? Right?
Yeah.
Moderator has to keep you in check, and I do too.
Let him finish it. Let him finish.
Crazy babysitting we're both doing right now. So back to this. When I asked you a question and didn't get a concise answer, and asked for a more concise answer, you then said,
hold up. Let him get it off. Let him get it off, because the chat can't hear when we're all talking at the same time. Just let him get it off.
So when
we only got a few more questions here too.
When I asked for a concise question, I never got a concise answer or even a full answer that was up to date. Just to clarify, I asked for clarification, to which you said I was moving the goalposts, which is really weird.
Then when you brought up, you asked for an article, and then you asked for the year, as if the year even matters. A person who excessively concerned with minor details of rules without displaying any academic learning.
Let him finish.
Is called a pedant.
Let him finish.
Typical First Amender L right now. Why don't you let me finish?
Typical
to wrap
pedant.
This up, Then when I go ahead and call you out on your bullshit and call you out on a blatant lie, you then divulge down to ad homs, and that's it. And you're just like, that's your justification.
Yes, because you won't address any of my studies. You haven't addressed anything. All you did was just apply rhetoric and then say, I got you. You lose the argument. You never argued the point.
You got to be trolling at this point. This is crazy.
I'm not trolling.
You have to
believe it or not. I am not trolling with you. I gave you studies. I gave you information. It's there. Not a single right winger has ever been able to acknowledge these studies. They've just completely just doubled and tripled down on their stupid transphobia or whatever, and they didn't actually acknowledge anything. Read a single study. Know anything about endocrinology? You didn't even know. You didn't know what lordosis was. You didn't know what. You don't know what hormones affect. You don't know what hormones affect. Anything you don't know these things.
So I'm a chiropractic assistant, and I do structural body work on auto accidents.
Chiropractor? So you're a fake doctor?
Amanda, you gotta let him answer.
He's a fake doctor.
You gotta let him answer. You gotta let him answer.
He's a fake doctor.
I'm going
just
to
let him answer.
Did you get your degree at the back of a cereal box while you're at it?
Can't even fucking.
Amanda, come on, let him answer. I don't like to mute, but if you keep interrupting, I'm gonna have to mute. Just let him answer.
Yeah, this is crazy. If you were Monopoly, you'd be in jail and they'd throw away the fucking key. This is ridiculous. I can't even finish an answer without him interrupting. So I'm a chiropractic assistant. I'm not a chiro. I do structural body work on people. This is what I specialize in. I'm a therapist. I work on auto accident people. And when you assert that I don't know what lordosis is, I work on patients all the time. Once again, you're proving right now you're making assertions and can't even demonstrate this, and you're just automatically doing this. This is a pattern with you, First Amender. When I call you out on this bullshit, which I'm doing right now, It's like, good luck to you on your future debates. If you keep doing this, you're going to keep taking L's, and I predict you doing this. To me, it's weird because liberals, I'm going to wrap this up real quick. Liberals hate blacks when it comes to this, when they're not conservative. The only people that you like on your side are gay people, unless they're conservative. There's a following trend on your side, and I'm seeing this as self-evident.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, all these ad homs.
Yeah, me saying what the fuck are you talking about is not a personal attack. And it's also not addressing an argument at all. It's just saying
You haven't addressed my
what-
argument.
none of that is relevant.
Let's
We
move
only got a
forward.
few more to go
No,
here.
what
Let's
is an
get
ad
let's
hom
get
is
through
you're a
these.
moron.
Move.
You have no idea what you're talking about, and you act like you know what you're talking about. And I'm just astonished how many, like honestly,
You just
I
took a
think
fast
like
major
our
focus.
empirical or our ability to determine truth has been stunted so fundamentally that to the point that you have to sit there and ignore 6 different fields of study in order
Premium
to affirm
Coke.
your worldview. Hey, how old is the
All right,
Earth?
let's get.
I just
Hold
I
up,
wanna
guys.
pay
Hold
for a
up. Let's
I
get
wanna-
to the next one.
just
Let's
a quick
get to the
question.
next one.
How old is the Earth?
I don't think he's gonna answer.
No,
this
why
right now.
can't he answer that question? That's a
Well,
simple
I don't
question.
see it.
How old's the Earth? How old's the Earth? How old's the Earth?
All right, let's go to the next
How
question here.
old? Just
First,
give me the age.
He's got time.
I
next
just
question,
wanna know
next
the age.
question.
How
Hold
old's
up,
the
hold up.
Earth?
Let's
You're
get to
gonna
the next
continue to
question,
check
guys.
out
Let's get to the
time.
next question here. First Amender, you gave one definition for trans woman gender and then a second definition for a woman biology. Please explain how they are the same thing.
Great. They're not the same thing. Fabulous. Good job. Yeah, gender and sex are different things. And when you acknowledge gender and sex are different things, when I'm referring to trans women or women, I refer to trans women or women by gender. The sex never changes.
I think this Coke is premium, like pure extract. I think you could bottle this at the source where he's at.
Hey, P
Get
Brain,
Coke
how
from the
old
side
is
is
the
awesome.
Earth?
I don't. Yeah,
He can't
Next
do it.
comment.
He's
completely
dude,
irrelevant to the.
I want
topic.
to. I want to
I
hear
mean,
the
if you're
number.
staying for after
I
panel,
want to
maybe
hear.
you'll
Hey,
answer
what
there.
do the baguettes say?
But
Come on.
okay, so we got $10 coming in from Daniel Zan. Are you claiming all the men with these endo characteristics are not men but trans women closeted or unaware? And
Yeah.
you have your own proprietary definition of women, so then by your standard, trans women are women.
So it's not a proprietary definition. It's a definition that I've developed after a lot of reading. I'm referencing well understood studies, and I'm acknowledging multiple fields of study to come to those conclusions. Now, claiming all men with endocrinological characteristics are not men, but trans women closeted or unaware. So again, there's multiple factors that result in somebody becoming trans. Endocrinology is a huge factor in consideration. There's societal factors as well as there's different morphologies that change within the brain, which result in somebody being trans. I could posit maybe there exists a person that possesses these characteristics and feel that they're the same sex as their gender. Maybe that's possible. That would be an exceedingly rare thing because there would be no deterministic outcome that would lead to that. So I hope that helps. I'm sorry. I don't have simple answers to these. Are complicated questions, or complicated answers to, I know it seems like a simple question, but it does require a bit of thinking.
I'd say something, but he's going to talk about flat Earth or something else. Let's keep moving forward.
How old's he?
All right, if a trans woman detransitions, are they now a trans man?
No, they would just be a cis woman. I'm sorry, cis man. They would just be a cis man.
I'm not going to engage in that. That's
Okay.
So you're biologically male. You transition to female. You decide to detransition back to male. You're cis male. That's how that works.
All right. Next one we got here, $10 coming from Kieran. First Amender, if we can't draw an analogy from cars to people, why can we draw one from rats to people?
Oh,
right.
Sure, because rats exist biologically and they are also mammals. Cars aren't mammals. They're cars and not
Notice-
biological.
Notice how he said analogy, right?
Yeah, it's
Analogy.
an appropriate analogy.
Meaning an example that exists outside of ourselves, right? You couldn't even answer a question. That's why we.
No. It's because you're applying a false equivalency, equivocating cars to human beings, and I'm using rats, which, by the way, medically speaking, we use rats all the time in order to get to human clinical trials. Why?
So
because they're
hold on.
mammals and they have similar cellular structure to that of humans.
So you're denying that Transformers exist in cartoons. That's cool. Anyways, moving forward.
What the fuck? God, you
I'm such an
I could
idiot.
just see that little brain just tickling along inside.
More ad homs.
Holy
More ad
crap.
homs. Yeah. Code, more code.
We got Jack of Blades comes in, became a new member. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support big time. First Amender, how are we to accept studies paid for by trans activists as true when all studies backed by impartial organizations have contradictory conclusions from the data?
So
question.
that's actually not true. So there are, in fact, multiple countries that are invested in studying trans people. There's a very tiny amount of studies that do not acknowledge or try to disassociate the existence of trans people and how sex is different from gender. This is not the case for a majority of studies. Countries that actually do study transgender medicine or endocrinology are able to observe these things, even those that are impartial. Now, does that mean that there are a lot of trans activist 501c3s that then fund science? Yes, there are. But you do also have, for example, the NIH, there's the American Medical Association, there's the American Psychological Association, there are various Australian endocrinological associations that are able to find these things. It does not contradict. It really doesn't.
All right. Did you have anything for that, Marte? Or no?
Nah, I have a First Amender fatigue right now, and I'm trying to just get through this.
Wow, we just
Plankton
getting
comes in. Plankton comes in for $2 and says, "Yeah, so a proprietary definition is one you develop."
Okay, fair enough. I fail to see the relevance, though, like as to why it's wrong or incorrect.
All right. And then last one here, $5 from Daniel Zan. They exhibit every single characteristic you suggest you use as criteria. Everyone other than self-ID. Are they closeted or unaware?
There's a lot of factors. It's not as simple as, okay, well, we have this very specific thing. I mean, if we could get that, great. That's fabulous. Maybe the science will go in that direction. But I think like it might be very similar to that of gay people being gay, where we can exhibit that there are multiple allele frequencies to somebody to being gay. It's not as simple as just, hey, these specific allele frequencies confirms for sure you're gay. There's societal factors to take it in involvement. And while there can be things that lead to it, it doesn't necessarily lead to that, but they are indicators. So no, it's not as simple, even if you just apply a simple criteria. I know you want it to be a simple. I would like it to be simple, because then we could determine for sure whether who's trans, who's not trans, and then, you know, treat them as we do every other human being. But at the end of the day, it's more complex. Endocrinology is complex.
All right. Did you have anything for that, Marte?
The fatigue. I thought I had black fatigue right now. This First Amender fatigue is like 10 times worse than that. Let's just continue.
All right.
How old's the Earth? Just answer. Come on, seriously, come on.
This pattern is fatiguing
How
right now.
old is the Earth? Come on, just please, just for my own entertainment. How old is the Earth?
Oh,
Well,
we got one
let's
more.
get a
If you
debate
want
on
to.
that.
Just give me a date.
First
Give me a
Amendment.
year.
We have
Come on.
one more if you
How-
want to
how many-
answer
how
it.
many-
I'll
how
recommend
old?
another debate.
Come
I'll
on,
let you
no,
know
I
the
just
debate.
want to
We'll
hear.
set it
I
up.
want to. I just
Yeah, we could
genuinely,
definitely set up a
We
theological
could. I'd love
debate.
to.
I'm up
I'd
for it.
love
get
to do
wrecked
that.
on that
I'd
too.
love to do that.
He'll
Please
get
invite
fucking
me
dropped
again.
on that
I'd
one
love
too.
it.
I don't care.
No, but seriously, how old's the Earth?
Okay, you're going to disrespect his time even more? That's
No,
crazy.
don't worry
That's
about it. First Amendment, does a rat have an inner sense of its gender?
Yes, and I proved it with lordosis and mounting behavior. This can be exhibited among females where they have an excess of testosterone, and this can also be exhibited among males who have a lack of testosterone. Yes.
All right.
Also observed by rhesus macaques based on behavioral characteristics, but I did not go over it.
All right. So that is it for the Q&A portion. All right. Are you guys staying for the open panel?
I'll stay for open panel.
I'm supposed to be in bed, but I'm kind of enjoying myself. To be
Yeah, it's
honest.
totally up to you. You don't have to stay for the whole time the
Is it-
open panel goes. You can leave at any time you want.
Okay, all right. Are people
All
going
right.
to yell at me? That's probably what's going to happen.
Well, I do keep it moderated so it's not like
Alright.
crazy. So
Okay.
So then that means everyone, I want to first off, huge thanks to everyone who sent in questions and showed support. Every bit of that support helps keep the show running, makes these debates possible. All right. Big respect to both debaters. All right. Whether you agreed or disagreed, it takes more than you know to come up and hold your ground in front of a live audience. So make sure you go support the debaters for this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna roll the debate outro. It runs for about 3 minutes. That'll give the debaters, the chat, myself a time to go use the washroom, get a drink, whatever. And then during the outro, I'll drop the link to join the panel in the chat for anyone who wants to come up, share your take, ask questions, all of that. But a heads up, if you're joining for like starting drama, trolling, just yelling over everyone, I'm going to mute you and probably just boot you. Okay. So just like, if that's your goal, just know it's going to be failed ahead of time. All right. But everyone, if you enjoy what you've seen tonight, make sure you subscribe to the Speakeazy channel as well so you don't miss more debates just like this one. All right. So stick around after the intro goes down. The open panel, chaos and chill will begin. And again, thank you to the debaters and everyone for joining us here tonight.
Look at this Crusader shit. It's so cringy. Look at this. They're just like, we're like Crusaders. We're gonna kill all the Muslims. It's 3 minutes long. I don't want to listen to this stupid song. It's so loud. I'm gonna turn it down. Fuck this. Jesus Christ. Awful. Good God. Let's see here. AOL says that was a good show tonight. Thank you. Bobro says, try donating if you want to support this guy, if you want him to be able to continue doing this in the future. Appreciate that. AWOL says the coach got way too emotional. He didn't bring up enough actual solutions. I see. I don't know who the coach is. So that wasn't the guy I was debating. Also, why couldn't he answer the age of the Earth? Chat, let me ask you this. How old is the Earth? I'm going to ask, I want to ask that question to chat. Come on. How old is the Earth? Come on. Give me here we go. I'm going to end this poll. Most people believe I did horrible. Jesus. You guys are awful. That just tells you how many hate watchers I have. Here we go. We're gonna do a quick poll. Let's see here. So how hold on, what was it? How old is the Earth? Let's see. All right. I just want to get a clear I want to get a clear vote here, right? Vote now. If you haven't voted, vote. How old is the Earth? He could have just said it's 4.543 billion, right? He could have said the Earth is 4.5. Who thinks that the Earth is 6,000? Bro, get out of my unsub. I am not doing my job if you believe that the Earth is between 6,000 and 60,000 years old, bro. Bro, who actually hit that and unironically believes that? Please. Holy shit. I really hope. Work Academic says these Christian nationals don't answer questions. That's why he won't answer if non-state recognized unions are subject to the family court. Andrew lost the debate to CGA. GGM says, yeah, you can't debate gender properly, so you divert away to talking about religion. What a fucking idiot. Yeah, because they're not acknowledging any of the studies. That's why. G-Check says, that's a false dichotomy. What is a false dichotomy? AWOL says, it's older than human science can tell because science has its limitations. No. Jesus Christ. We need to talk about half-lives. We're gonna do that one day, so that way we can just get rid of that whole thing. Like, it's actually amazing, like how we determined the Earth is 4.543 billion years old. It's amazing. GGM, do another poll and ask if we think you're a woman or not. Okay. J99 says, AWOL better figure out Discord. It's funny. It took so long for AWOL to figure out Discord. It's so funny. And also, for whatever reason, I can't, like, end the stage.
And we're back.
Hey, yo.
All right, let me turn it back up.
Vintage and Kieran, welcome.
Thanks,
Thank you,
man.
sir.
We can't stay too long.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
same
can't
here.
stay too long. It's very late for
Same
me.
here. If I could speak, I just had a bit of a. I was thinking about the prompt, right? Trans women are women. And I was just talking to Katie about it. I can't think of any other instance in the English language where we use the word are as an equal sign, like as an equivalence. So normally are is used to attribute equality, such as dogs are loyal, cats are dickheads, stuff like that. I can't think of any other instance where the word's used to say one thing is the same as the other thing. It just struck me as an interesting twist on the because I was going to ask First Amender what he thinks the word are means technically in that prompt.
Are?
Yeah, are, yeah. Trans women are women. What's the word are mean?
Like?
No, it doesn't.
Like,
It doesn't mean like. It doesn't mean like.
okay, well, would it be like? I mean, just pulling up a Google definition, it's second person singular present at first, second, and third person plural present of be, or a metric unit of measure equal to. Oh, hold on, let me see here.
can you define trans women without using the word woman or women?
No, hang on, mate. I just want to finish this point. So we could say
biological
hang on,
male.
bro. Hang on,
No,
bro.
go ahead. Go back, Tim. My bad. Sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah,
to-
thanks, man. Yeah, thanks, man. So I could say 2 + 2 are 4. That like equals. But I can't think of any other instance in the English language. So I think that statement itself is actually a trap. I think it's a call to. Well, trans women are women is really saying, are you prepared to say?
So the English language is not like this, like perfect math, right? Where it can establish proofs. It's
no shit. So what?
Well, so trying to equivocate into math is probably
I'm asking you. It's an analogy, bro. Come on. You know better than this.
You're asking me the definition of R. What is?
Do you know what's a really bad move, like a really bad faith move, is when you bring up an analogy and the other guy goes, "Oh, so you think humans are cars?" You know better than that.
No, I'm saying that
No, you don't know better than that.
the English
No, he
language
doesn't.
is not perfect like you would requiring with
so what?
math and proofs. So
I'm
trying
just
to
asking you.
trying
I'm
to
just asking you. I'm
equivocate
just
R
asking
to
you.
equals isn't really correct, right? It's just
I'm
he's
asking you
asking for
what-
clarification, First Amender. Can you
Yeah,
give him
yeah,
clarification on that?
on how trans women are women. Yeah, they're trans women
No.
are women by gender.
When you're talking about the meaning of language that you're using, can you
Uh-huh.
actually untangle this and engage?
Yes. So I mean, to the definition of R,
Yes.
it's a plural of is and am. Like it's
What does it mean to you when you
It's
read
also
the, when
something
you,
pirates say.
when you read the prompt? When you read the prompt and you said, "I agree, trans women are women," what did you think the word "are" meant?
as in is or am.
The same thing, like trans women are the same thing as women.
No, I wouldn't go.
So
that
you
far.
don't think trans women are women?
No,
Then what the fuck are you debating, bro?
I think you're being disingenuous. I again,
You were
am
on the
referring to
affirmative.
the
You
difference
were on the
between
affirmative.
of
You were on
sex
the
and
affirmative of the
gender,
prompt.
and how
You were
women
on.
can
You were
trans women can
on.
be women by gender.
You were on the affirmative of the prompt, and you
That's
just said you
correct.
don't agree
I
with
said-
the prompt. Then what the fuck were you doing all night?
I again did not disagree with the prompt. I agree with the prompt that trans women are women by gender.
You just said they're not.
No, you're trying to get a
You just
gotcha
did. You
by
said it 15
equivocating
seconds
R
ago.
and
That
equals.
is a got you. I'm not trying to
Yeah,
get a
I
got
know
you.
you're
That is a
trying.
got
Yeah,
you.
yeah, you're trying to do a gotcha.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
trying to equivocate R and equals. The English
No.
language is imperfect. No
Same thing.
shit,
Yeah.
right? Isn't
So,
that what you
First
said?
Amender,
No
if-
shit, right? Shouldn't this be obvious to
Equals
you that equals is not
equals
R?
denotes truth or denotes exact. So
English
A equals
language is
A.
not
A equals A. So
perfect.
if you say you
Oh,
say
Jesus
trans
Christ.
women are women, that means trans women equals women.
Is the entire after show just going to be this? Because I'll just leave. Oh, fuck this.
Trans matter. It's
It's because you're trying to gaslight and act as though it's
I'm
like,
not
oh,
gaslighting
we all
anything.
clearly
You're
know
the
what you
one
mean, but we don't.
equivocating a proof such as equals to the word are, which is an imperfect
Yeah.
word, just like all words are in the English language. It's not
Okay.
a
Let me give you an example.
operating under the basis of proof. It's
Yeah.
it's
Okay, let me give you the example.
it's
Just
the
listen,
English
please.
language which is imperfect.
Just listen, right? I can say 2 + 2 = 4. I can also say 2 + 2 is 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're saying this is a false equivocation when it's not, because I just said like is and are basically same word here, and then equals I use in the same
okay,
sentence.
to
Question
be
is,
fair,
are-
guys,
is
hold
for-
up. To be fair, guys, do it with a plural.
Yeah, so
'Cause it's
R
not
is just the
woman.
plural of is
It's
Yeah,
and
two
women.
am.
twos. Yeah, 2 2s are 4.
There you go. Well done. That's it. 2 2s
So
are 4.
R is the word. So
Okay,
you guys
yeah.
are quibbling
So-
over nothing.
So if you're
Exactly.
referring,
Trans women are women. So that is like he is engaging with the prompt. You guys kind of just quibbled over nothing just now.
thank you.
Who's quibbling?
You guys, because you guys said that R doesn't mean is, but it does if you're talking about plurals.
No, I was asking.
Women
No,
is
no,
a
no.
plural.
Okay, so
Easy.
then say
What First
then-
Amendment? One sec.
then
What
say,
First
well,
Amendment is saying is that
hang on,
equals
Terry,
and
hang on,
are is
Terry.
not the same thing, but it is.
Okay, who cares? Just say a trans woman is a woman. There you go. Make it singular. Okay,
Okay.
so what does the word is mean?
What the? Okay.
What does the word is mean? A trans woman is a woman.
I have to look that up. I mean, that's a complex.
Do you really?
Equals.
There's no
Yeah, yeah,
result.
look
It's
up the word
synonymous to
is.
equals.
Bro, you read books on endocrinology. Why don't you know what the word is means?
Because it's
2
Bro,
+ 2
then,
is
mate,
4.
like
2
that,
+ 2
get an
= 4.
Holy shit.
Same meaning.
You read books on neuroscience, bro. You've read the studies. You don't know what the fucking word is means.
I tell you,
Okay,
like,
so
this is what I say,
the-
Kieran. Like, you all
so
thought I was a
is-
troll when I said truth is what
So-
is, and then we got into the definition of is,
so
and then here we are.
Is would be like equal, homogeneous, uniform, isometric, or from different individuals of the same species.
Wait, was that? Did you use the word
ChatGPT
equals there in the
or what?
definition of is?
It's one of them. Yes.
Yes, so it is.
Oh,
It means the same thing.
shit.
So it's not a false equivocation.
Damn.
Okay. So what's your point?
Yeah, so basically the prompt is saying you're saying trans woman equals woman. So you've just admitted
gender,
that you
yes.
don't believe that, which means you've just destroyed your own point.
By gender. the problem is that because people don't associate gender and sex from being separate, I think that biological women are the same of trans women. That's a silly argument because it's not true. The reality.
So what's the difference? So what's the difference between a trans woman and a woman?
Well, typically large or small gametes. It will also be XX chromosomes or XY chromosomes, but have different genitalia.
So they aren't the same thing then. So they aren't the same thing.
Correct. But by
Correct.
gender,
You
they
did it
are.
again. You just did it again.
But
You
by
just
gender,
disagreed with
they
the prompt
are.
again. This is like shooting fish in a fucking barrel. Holy shit.
You're not understanding by gender. The
Correct.
entire
I'm not
thing is by
understanding. That's
gender.
right. That's right. I'm not understanding.
You're not.
Dude, you fucking retard.
Mate, if I can interject right
Jesus
now, he
Christ.
just
Sure,
conceded
sure.
the whole debate
All
2
right.
minutes
Yo,
into
yo.
the debate
So
by
just
saying
FYI,
women aren't
it's 11:25, right?
exactly
if
the
I
same.
get, let me listen.
Rage
I
quit is
assumed.
coming.
Listen, I assumed
The
that
rage
this
quit
was
is
going to
coming.
be. I
already.
assumed that this
So-
was going to be, a good faith discussion, and that this would be moderated.
You haven't
just
been
as
good faith
Speakeazy
the whole
said,
debate.
that it
You
is
even
not
turned up
going to
late.
be. That you're
No,
not going to be
so
shitty
First
towards
Amendment,
me.
he's
If
a
you're just going to be
moderator.
Hold on,
shitty
let
towards
him
me,
get off what he's saying.
if you're
Let him
just
get
going to
off
be
what he's
shitty
saying.
towards me, I'll be honest. I'm about 30 minutes past me going to bed. I have work in the morning.
Says
right?
the guy that's been insulting people all day.
so-
Rage quit. Rage quit. Rage
Please.
quit. See ya.
Goodbye. Have a good day.
Rage
Catch you
quit.
later.
Hey, I just want to let
See
you
you,
know,
pussy.
old mate, go fuck yourself. Original vintage, go fuck yourself. Tariak, go fuck yourself. Go be a hateful
Hey,
piece
why
of
am I-
I got a
garbage. And I
girlfriend,
hope you
buddy.
guys
I
go
don't
die.
fuck
Have a
myself.
good day. Bye. Jesus Christ. Fuck these people. Ugh. Gross. Well, damn, dude. Yeah, no, I don't want to have any more debates, dude. Like, I had a long ass fucking debate, and it's like, I'm tired, bro. I'm tired. I'm just gonna leave. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and get fucking like just shit on by the fucking peanut gallery the entire time. I'm just gonna leave. Like, I've provided the neuroendocrinological findings. I've provided multiple studies. No studies was provided on the opposite end. It's a complete stunning lack of reality. I don't know. I just fucking waste my goddamn time. Jesus Christ. Ugh. Fuck this. Good God. I told them that they should all die. Sorry. I gotta stop showing up on these hate podcasts, bro. It ain't good for me. It's not good. Now I'm supposed to go to bed. How the hell am I supposed to go to bed when it was that heavy, I guess? Like, seriously, how can I go to bed now? Jesus Christ, man. What a nightmare that was. Ugh. Oh, man. And I played League of Legends, and all I did was lose in League of Legends. Jesus fuck. Briscoe says, yeah, stick to your bubble, amender. Go fuck yourself, Briscoe. How about that? How about this, right? How about I just block you on YouTube? Like, I'm done, dude. Go fuck yourself. Add to block list. Goodbye. Bye. I'm done. Dude, I'm not in the mood. I'm not going to sit there and it's like, fuck. It's 11:30. I sat there, like, I go to bed normally at 11. And I elected to show up on this show, have a discussion, see what we can do. And it's like, the whole time was just nothing but insults and just ad homing the entire situation, operating under hyperbole, never acknowledging the findings in the studies, just like Jake the Rattlesnake, just like all of these other fucking transphobes. It's the same goddamn thing, right? I'm just gonna seriously, I don't know what else to do. I could just argue the position and hopefully, I convince some people, but I don't know. It's going to take more time, more effort. I'm still a very small YouTuber, and when I get like these giant, I walk into these debate spaces with these giant places. They're like, "Oh my God, he's got so few viewers." Like, I'm just like, I literally don't care. I don't care. I'm just gonna do what I think is right and what's correct. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm in a bad mood. I'm not in a good mood. I apologize. Bobro says having a debate channel with multiple people every stream always shitting on him means he doesn't have an echo chamber. And his Discord certainly isn't an echo chamber. My Discord is a bit of an echo chamber, but with that being said, my YouTube channel is not. GGM says, but it's a lie. Male cannot gain the endocrinology of a female. That's complete nonsense. The main endocrine gland for females' sexual development is the ovaries. Well, there's additional things that cause those things, and this can also be exhibited. And man, I really wish, God, I wish there was a way that I could just channel the book's knowledge into someone's head, like instantly. There's no way to just instantly do it. Yeah, I don't know. Did first, fucking rage quit. So yeah, they were like, okay, we're gonna go into open Q&A. Like, we're just gonna invite people in. He said it would be polite. And I'll be honest, it's 30 minutes past my bedtime. I was like, okay, if it's gonna be okay and polite, we can, I don't mind, being around, but it immediately went into dogpile mode. I'm not gonna fucking waste my time with these people, dude. I'm done. I'm just leaving. I'm leaving. Right? Fuck these people. I hope they, I told them, I hope they die. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. How do I wind down? How do I wind down for the day? I got to figure out how to do that because I got work in the morning, and God, that was a very stressful debate. I'm not going to lie. That was a stressful debate. That was not a fun one. Not on my end anyway. I didn't enjoy that. Yeah, Bobro says science generally agrees with trans people. It does. These hateful fucks, I promise you, 20 years into the future, there's going to be some pretty conclusive science where it's just not going to be possible for them to remove the acknowledgement. I think that we're living through, like, effectively what the 1980s went through with gay people, tried to pretend that they don't exist. They're perverts. They're, all sorts of nonsense. Oh. God, I didn't even eat dinner. But I did have a big lunch, so I should be all right. How am I going to sleep? G Check says, what kind of work do you do? I'm a systems administrator. Why? Baked Salmon has a great YouTube channel for de-stressing. First, are you going to debate me about the Great Floods? Do you actually believe that the global flood happened? And that we literally took 2 of every animal? I hope you don't believe that. We gotta like pull you away from that, because that couldn't be more wrong. There's so much evidence against that. It's like insane. And you don't even have to be a scientist to figure that one out. G-Check says, just wondering, I'm in construction. Yeah, man, that's great. Brick mason, that's fabulous. You probably make more money than me nowadays. I do okay. Money making is okay. Bills are paid. I don't know. Maybe I should just have like an endocrinologist or somebody to like talk about this. Like, just be like, hey, I invited an endocrinologist as a leading researcher in trans, affirming therapy. Like, I don't know. I would just have to make sure it remains respectful, because Jesus Christ, dude, that was not a respectful channel. Holy crap. Ugh. I feel like I'm going to have hate watchers for the next few days now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in a good mood. I don't know. How do you guys feel? I wanted to thank Tech for the $20 super chat. I didn't have a chance to read it. That was amazing. Thank you. You did not have to do that. That's a lot of money. I appreciate that. Let me ask him what he said. Yeah. Yeah, so just for fun, you could take a look at some stuff regarding the Endocrine Society and transgender health. You'll find that I am not, in fact, making this up. I'm not crazy. Again, like, it's right-wingers that have a difficult time acknowledging it. Endocrinology, by the way, is not a fake science. It is not a social science. It's definitely into the field of medicine. Over the last few decades, there has been a rapid expansion in the understanding of gender identity, along with the implications for care of transgender and gender diverse individuals. In parallel with greater societal awareness of transgender individuals, evidence-based practices in caring for pediatric and adult transgender patients have been developed in response to scientific research. While there continue to be gaps in knowledge about the optimal care for transgender individuals, the framework for providing care is increasingly well established and is a recognition of needing policy changes. The medical consensus of the late 20th century was that transgender and gender incongruent individuals suffered from a mental health disorder termed gender identity disorder. Gender identity was considered malleable and subject to external influences. Today, however, this attitude is no longer considered valid. Considerable scientific evidence has emerged demonstrating a durable biological element underlying gender identity. Individuals may make choices due to other factors in their lives, but there do not seem to be external forces that genuinely cause individuals to change gender identity. Although the specific mechanism guiding the biological underpinnings of gender identity are not entirely understood, there is an evolving consensus that being transgender is not a mental health disorder. Such evidence stems from scientific studies suggesting that 1. Attempts to change gender identity in intersex patients may match external genitalia or chromosomes are typically unsuccessful. 2. Identical experience of transgender identity as compared to fraternal, non-identical twins. 3. Among individuals with female chromosomes, rates of male gender identity are higher than those of the exposed higher levels of androgens in utero relative to those without such exposure. And male XY chromosome individuals with complete androgen insensitivity syndrome typically have a female gender identity, and there are associations of brain scans or staining patterns with gender identity rather than external genitalia or chromosomes. So, like, guys, this is the Endocrine Society. This is not a transgender, like, think tank. It's the Endocrine Society. Why don't we Google it? Let's Google it. Who is the Endocrine Society? Let's see. All right, hold on. Who is the Endocrine Society? The Endocrine Society is a professional international medical organization in the field of endocrinology and metabolism founded in 1916. The Association for the Study of Internal Secretions. The official name of the organization was changed to the Endocrine Society on January 1st of 1952. It is the leading organization in the field and publishes 4 leading journals. It has more than 18,000 members from over 120 countries in medicine, molecular and cellular biology, biochemistry, physiology, genetics, immunology, education, industry, and allied health. The Society's mission is to advance excellence in endocrinology and promote its essential integrative role in scientific discovery, medical practice, and human health. This is about as empirical as it can get. This is not a biased source. Okay? It's right here from the Endocrine Society. It's telling you the existence of trans people. Okay? I'm not crazy when I hate to like drill it into right-wingers' brains. What is the most important endocrine glands for sexual development? Typically, isn't it, I could be wrong about this, but isn't it gonads and ovaries? Can these glands be developed through the use of HRT? No. But it can be suppressed and changed. There's also, once again, things that happen at an embryonic stage which can change it. So there's that. I hope that makes sense. GGM, GGM says you could be wrong. What the fuck? Yeah. So if I don't, I'm almost positive it's that, but I'll be honest, I'm not 100% on that. GGM says, I thought you were a pro on endocrinology. No, I by no means am studied in, I mean, I've read a few papers. I've read, about endocrinology. I'm saying that Republicans haven't read anything on this. He says, yes, it's testes and ovaries. I don't know, man. There's like some, like, if I'm not mistaken, I thought like what is it? There's like I'm trying to remember the name of it. Let me look that up. Hold on. Hang tight. Yeah, that's what I always thought. Yes, exactly. I knew I wasn't crazy. It's the pituitary gland. The pituitary, very, very important. Yeah, there's a bunch of different glands. It's not just testes and ovaries, right? Obviously, ovaries and testes are a huge factor, but obviously the pituitary gland is a huge portion as well. But there's a lot of different glands that offer different features. So it kind of affirms, like, I'm glad I said I was almost positive. If you have testes, you cannot gain the endocrine system of a female. That's absolutely ignorant. Wrong. Where did you get that? There are those that have internal testes and possess intersex characteristics, but would have basically female. Let's take a look here. Ah, man. I gotta like just do a freaking read of this chapter. Is it a girl or is it a boy? The only problem is that there's like nudity in it. There's like nudity. Like you just see like people's naked bodies. We ask new parents, is it a girl or is it a boy? And assume that the answer will be easy. Penis and scrotum define a boy, clitoris and labia a girl. However, parents and even pediatricians sometimes find it difficult to answer this seemingly simple question. This is because some children are born with intersex conditions, where the external genitalia are ambiguous, neither clearly male nor clearly female. This type of intersex condition, where the genitalia are so ambiguous that the sex assignment is difficult, probably occurs in about 1 in 12,000 births, although population data that would provide precise figures is not available. In addition of the incidence of intersex births depending on some extent on how intersex is defined, certain conditions that involve less extreme genital aberrations sometimes are referred to as intersex. These include, for instance, hypospadias, where the urethra does not match or reach the tip of the penis, but the genitalia are clearly those of a male. If all such syndromes are included, intersex births can be thought as frequent as 1 in 100. What causes genital ambiguities or physical intersex conditions? To answer this question, it is helpful to understand the processes that are involved in physical and sexual differentiation. This is fucking wild. This is wild. I'm reading to you this stuff. This is some of the stuff that really just convinced me. Did Eve exist before Adam? That's unironically what it says. Look. Here. Oh, it's hard to, but it does say it. It says, did Eve exist before Adam? In the beginning are the chromosomes. At conception, genetic information from the father, carried by the sperm, unites with genetic information from the mother, carried by the ovum. This genetic information is contained on 23 pairs of chromosomes, with the 23rd pair, the sex chromosomes, defining the genetic sex. In most cases, this pair is either an X or a Y, genetically male, or an X and an X, genetically female. However, there are sometimes abnormalities, such as an extra X or a Y, or missing chromosomes. The chromosomal makeup can be inconsistent from cell to cell, with some cells XX and others XY, or X alone, XO, indicating a missing chromosome. In addition, portions of chromosomes can be missing. For instance, portions of Y chromosome required for testicular differentiation, as in the testes determining region, can be abnormal. In this case, an XY develops ovaries instead of testes, making the genotype male inconsistent with a gonadal phenotype female. Perhaps surprisingly, most of these abnormalities of the sex chromosomes do not produce ambiguous genitalia at birth. This is because genital development is controlled by gonadal hormones rather than directly by sex chromosomes. As a consequence, most cases of ambiguous genitalia at birth result from hormonal processes occurring downstream from sex chromosomes. These processes are set in motion by sex chromosomes during normal development, but are influenced by other factors, including information contained on the remaining 22 pairs of chromosomes, and even in some cases, influences from the environment. To understand how alterations in these processes can lead to intersex conditions involving ambiguous genitalia at birth, it will be useful to focus on the role of gonadal hormones in sexual differentiation. Do you guys find this interesting? This is fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. Do you like this? I don't know. Do you like me reading to you? Maybe we should put on classical music while I read to you. It'll help calm me down. Oh, I'll go to bed easier. You guys are helping me go to bed. Let's see. Let's see, something calm, classical. All right, hopefully this will help, I guess. All right. Mechanisms of sexual differentiation. A major consequence of being genetically male XY versus female XX is the differentiation of the gonads and testes versus the ovaries. Both XY and XX fetuses begin at life with the same primordial gonads. However, at about 6 weeks of gestation, the testes determining genes on the Y chromosome cause the primordial gonads to differentiate as testes. If they do not become testes, they differentiate shortly thereafter as ovaries. Differentiation of the gonads into testes versus ovaries results in markedly different hormone environments during development. Fetuses of both sexes are exposed to both androgens and estrogens from their gonads as well as other sources, such as the adrenal gland, the placenta, and the maternal system. However, there are dramatic differences in the amounts of various hormones produced by the testes versus ovaries, and these differences direct most subsequent events in sexual differentiation. Once the gonads have differentiated as testes, they begin to produce hormones, notably testosterone and other androgens. Testosterone levels are higher in human male than female fetuses, beginning in as early as a week of 8 of gestation and peaking at about week of 16. By about week 24, testosterone levels have declined in developing males, and there is no longer a large sex difference. However, shortly after birth, the testes produce a second surge of testosterone measurable in blood samples until about the 3rd to 6th month of postnatal life. This is Smale et al., 1981. In contrast, in the female fetuses, the ovaries appear to produce relatively small amounts of hormones, particularly in comparison to the production of estrogen and progesterone by the placenta. As a result, there is no appreciable sex differences when circulating levels of estrogen and progesterone prenatally, although there appears to be a surge in ovarian estrogen in females shortly after birth and for roughly the first 6 months of postnatal life. Do you guys like this? Let me ask chat. How do I do it? Like a poll? I wish I could do a poll. Let's see. Poll. How do I do a poll? Is there a way to do a poll? I can't do a poll from Restream. I have to like log in, be in my YouTube channel to do that. All right. Bobro says I do. Anybody else? I don't know. How hormones control sexual development. These differences in hormones direct sexual differentiation on the genitalia, and the mechanisms of which they do so are surprising. The most obvious plan might be to use testosterone, the principal product of the male gonad, to direct development of the male phenotype, and estradiol, the principal product of the female gonad, to direct development of the female phenotype. However, nature has not followed this plan. Instead, several different schemes for determining male and female characteristics have evolved. One scheme is illustrated by the development of external genitalia. As was the case with the gonads, both genetically male XY and female XX fetuses begin with the same primordial structures. See figure 2.2 and 2.3. Yeah, it's yeah, the figure is very, it's just very, yeah, just showing this here is being what appears to be basically a bit of both, where you just have like a general tube, a genital tubercle, a single external opening, and a Wolffian structure or a Mullerian structure. Both male and female. How about that? Interesting. Where was I? If testosterone is present, these structures begin to differentiate into a penis or a scrotum, becoming recognizably male by about 9 to 10 weeks of gestation. Smale et al., 1981. In absence of testosterone, the same structures become a clitoris and a labia, regardless of the levels of estrogen or progesterone. Thus, no hormonal influence from the female gonads, the ovaries, appear to be necessary from differentiation of female external genitalia. Genital feminization in the absence of gonadal hormones was first developed by Host, 1947-1958. He removed the ovaries from developing rabbits and subsequently observed their external genitalia were indistinguishable from those of intact females. The possibility that estrogen from other sources, such as the placenta, is needed for the female differentiation and cannot be ruled out. However, feminization of the external genitalia appears to occur without stimulation of ovarian hormones, and in that sense, it is pre-programmed state. For this reason, it is sometimes suggested that Eve, rather than Adam, was the first prototypical human being. A second scheme is represented by development of internal reproductive organs. In this case, both male and female fetuses have two sets of structures, Mullerian ducts and Wolffian ducts, which only one set is retained. The male fetuses beginning at about 7 to 8 weeks of gestation. This is actually wild. This picture here where you have the male and female development. I don't know if this is like okay for YouTube, but basically like you have something where it's like something in between, and then it either develops into one or the other. And you'll notice that like the labia fuses together to make a scrotum. I mean, it's fascinating, really, because like you probably notice that if you're a boy, that you are that you have that line. That's the fused together labia. That's what that is. Isn't that interesting? I don't know. All right. Well, sadly, I would like to continue this, but I mean, it goes into very strange sex determinations, which make it very ambiguous. I would like to go over it, but sadly, I got work in the morning. I'm not a YouTuber like these people are, where they could just stay up super late and just, just argue to their heart's content. But I do have to get going. All right. You have a great night, everybody. I appreciate y'all for joining in. Have a good rest of your night. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. I'm a very small YouTuber, so any amount is really important.